You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
4 a.m. Tuesday morning, we're in a Code Red weather alert for tonight into tomorrow. Today looks great, but some possible strong storms. We'll detail them in moments from right now.
Also now on Fox 17 News this morning, Metro Police say they've arrested the last suspect in a shooting death of a security guard that happened last month. And a bill that would allow teachers to carry guns sparked a huge student walkout from several Metro high schools. We're going to tell you what the students had to say coming up in just minutes. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4 a.m. on this Tuesday morning, April the 16th. I'm Justin McFarland. We have gone code red here in our studios this morning, and that's because of the possibility of storms later tonight. Greg Bulb is standing by with the code red forecast.
Yes, daylight hours are going to be good, and even this morning, a few light rain showers are going to move into the area. Do not worry about anything until tonight into tomorrow. 2 rounds of potential strong storms are going to be there. One starts overnight tonight, midnight to 6 a.m. The second, possible, will be noon through 6 p.m. tomorrow. This is conditional. And what that means is every little thing has to fall into place to make us have any shot at seeing severe weather. But there are enough indicators to give us that any mode of potential severe weather is going to be there, so we're going to be code red just to make sure we're all on the same page going to bed tonight and waking up tomorrow morning. So again, midnight to 6 a.m. overnight tonight, daylight hours. Any rain you get today, do not worry about it until after sunset. And then tomorrow, this is the part we have to really watch. If we do not get the overnight rain that lingers into early tomorrow morning, then our chance for the afternoon to be a little more active is going to be there. As far as what threats we face, they are all very low end. But they're all there, not flooding, but we have the big 3. We have hail, wind is the big one as always, and then we cannot rule out a spin-up tornado or 2 for tomorrow. Again, I have to stress tomorrow. In the meantime, gear up for it again. The allergies are miserable. They were bad yesterday. They were bad over the weekend. Today, until we get any additional rainfall, that is going to be the case. Tree pollen is almost above the severe category. Taking a look at grass, mold, all of them not really suiting us very well. So we're code red for tonight and tomorrow. And even Thursday has a few indicators for a storm or 2 during the afternoon hours. We'll look at that on Future Track. We'll time it all out and continue to give this updated process throughout the morning to see how things are going to shake out for us overnight tonight.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get to the very latest happening on I-40 at Dallas and Pike out near the airport. This is where we get started because there are a few places busier. I would argue none. No place busier this time of the morning than Nashville International Airport, where hundreds of people are already working to try to get those flights in the air. Right now, though, we are accident free, not just near the airport, but anywhere else across the mid-state. We've got your complete steer clear traffic live and local with you through 9 o'clock this morning. Let's get to Operation Crime and Justice, as Metro Police have now named 18-year-old Tyler Phan as the 3rd and final suspect in a deadly shooting of a security guard that happened last month. Now, police say Phan is one of 3 men who broke into cars outside of the Illusion Bar and Lounge. Maurice Thomas Jr. was the security guard who went to check out the noise there in the parking lot. Police say that the 3 people breaking in shot the security guard several times. He died at the scene. We have more information on those other arrests that police have already made. You can find that on our website at fox17.com. Continuing coverage this morning as some Metro high school students walked out of class yesterday. This was all a statement to state lawmakers to let their feelings be known about a bill that would allow teachers to be armed. Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker is live outside the Capitol this morning. This is where students arrived yesterday. You can see the Capitol dome all lit up. Those students were carrying signs and chanting. Some parents even joined them while trying to lobby the lawmakers. These students shared worries about whether or not 40 hours of training is enough time for teachers and whether or not more people should be informed about who's carrying guns in addition to the police and the superintendent of schools.
My teachers are expected not just to teach, but to risk their lives to protect students in a mass shooting event. They are expected to be EMTs and have gone through trainings on how to pack a bullet hole wound. Now you expect them to be armed law enforcement.
In a statement to Fox 17 News, the bill's sponsor, Representative Ryan Williams, said that this is all voluntary, and those taking part would also need a mental health evaluation. The bill is expected to go before the House tomorrow. It's already passed the Senate, by the way. Fox 17 News will continue to stay on top of the story and bring you more details as soon as we learn more. Well, coming up, former President Donald Trump has a hush money trial that continues into day 2. We're going to tell you why. No jurors were picked yesterday for the trial. And a pro-Palestinian protester, well, not just one, but several. They gathered across the country.
That's false. He's special needs. His life's in danger if somebody's not right there with him.
Next, Judge Judy. Tomorrow at 4 on Fox 17.
.408 is the time. Today will mark day 2 of the former President Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial, after day 1 officially ended with no members of the jury officially picked. Now they are trying to narrow down a group of impartial jurors, and it proved very difficult. The former president is very well known in the city where he grew up there in New York. More than half of the first group of about 200 jurors were dismissed when asked whether or not they could be impartial in the trial. The selection process will start back up later today. In the meantime, Manhattan prosecutors want to fine Donald Trump around $3,000 for allegedly violating the judge's gag order. That's based on 3 Truth Social posts they say violate the gag order that bars the former president from talking about the witnesses. Trump's lawyers are arguing that he's not targeting the witnesses, he's just responding to attacks from them. The judge will be holding a hearing on this motion to sanction next week. You may have seen some information about this floating around, especially on social media. There is a group of investors that has dropped this attempt to revise the bankrupt trucking company Yellow. Now, the Nashville-based company folded up operations and filed for bankruptcy last July. Fox 17 News reported on this story as the shutdown left tens of thousands of workers without a job. Yellow was over $1.3 billion in debt and potentially owed billions of dollars to pension funds and others. The failed bid to bring back Yellow was led by auto carrier Jack Cooper Transport, which could not stop the company from laying off its facilities, from auctioning off its facilities and equipment to cover those debts. Well, making headlines, pro-Palestinian protesters caused major delays in cities across the nation yesterday, including in places like Seattle, California's Bay Area, as well as in Chicago. Now, in Seattle, protesters blocked traffic into the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport for hours. Take a look out there. This was the scene, not just in Seattle, but in Oakland, California. People brought barrels filled with concrete onto the Interstate 880, and then chained themselves to those barrels there. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, demonstrators blocked the southbound lanes of the Golden Gate Bridge for hours, backing up traffic for miles. The actions were part of a worldwide protest against Israel's war in Gaza. The California Highway Patrol said 36 people were arrested on charges including unlawful assembly and resisting arrest. By the way, there were also similar protests in places like Chicago as well, as protesters blocked traffic outside of O'Hare Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. Well, you are definitely not alone if you waited until the last minute to file your taxes. The IRS commissioner says upwards of 1 million returns come in every hour on April the 15th. Not counting last week, the agency says it has received around 102 million returns. That's about 70% of the expected filings. This season, the IRS launched a pilot program allowing taxpayers to file their federal taxes for free on their website.
We know for a fact that it's in the tens of thousands, and I also know that in the last 24 to 48 hours, it's really ramped up in terms of the number of people who have filed using direct file. The feedback on it has been great. We've heard from taxpayers that it is easy to use, it was quick. Of course, everyone loves the price tag. It's free.
The agency says about 2/3 of taxpayers can expect a refund this year.
And coming up in your forecast, we are on the code red weather alert for possible strong storms tonight and tomorrow. It's a very conditional threat. What that means, coming up in your forecast.
And steer clear traffic out there at I-65 at the Trinity Lane exit out there doing just fine. We've got to look at other areas of town coming up in a few, plus a bill that would require teachers to tell a parent.
At the dealer for weeks, even months at a time. You bring it to Bates Ford, 40 Bates Service Department, pickup, delivery, mobile service, no appointment necessary.
That's Bates Ford, Lebanon, Tennessee. We'll trade for anything you don't eat.
4:14 is the time. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. We've gone code red here in our studios, and it's not because of the rain that's out there right now, some light rain for sure, but it's because of what's moving in.
Yeah, tonight and then tomorrow, two different chances. And I want to stress the word chance, that there could be a strong storm or two that moves in. A lot of things have to go into motion and work out perfectly for us to have any strong to severe weather, which is good. Sometimes we go, oh, this is going to happen. We have to worry about it. This is one of those conditional threats. What do I mean by that? We'll get to that. First, where's the rain at? A little bit of light rain here west of I-65. Taking a look out to the Dickson area, Centerville, very light rainfall, no thunder, no lightning. This is going to die down once the sun rises. It'll cool down the atmosphere a little bit here, which actually sounds kind of strange. The sun rising cools down the atmosphere, but it will make things a little more stable for us here. But Ashland City, out toward Pegram, getting toward Nashville here in the next 25 minutes or so. Very light rain. It'll give us a little pitter patter on the windshields, and that'll be pretty much it. Conditional. Think about baking a cake, making a puzzle. You got to have all the right little pieces, or the right ingredients there for it. Ingredients are there for severe storms tonight into tomorrow. The problem is, if we have rain in the morning tomorrow, we won't have the storms in the afternoon. They've got to get going, and they've got to have all the right little ingredients in the atmosphere. One of them does not want rain in the morning. So hope for rain in the morning tomorrow, and we should be in a pretty good place to go when it comes to keeping severe weather out of here. We are warm at 67 degrees, on our way to 86 later on this afternoon. Today, no worries. That morning rainfall done by mid-morning. We're dry and partly cloudy for the rest of the afternoon.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get to I-65 at Trinity Lane here on the north side of town. You can see their traffic moving along pretty well there on that north side. No big problems so far out there this morning. We've been checking in on the accident scene. We seem to be moving along, doing very, very well. We will check in on some other areas of town coming up in a few, but so far so good with your steer clear traffic. We've also got your drive times in the oven. We'll pull those out for you coming up in the next few minutes. 4:16 is the time. It's Work Zone Awareness Week, and TDOT is asking drivers to move over and slow down and show care for the highway workers. Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey is live for us this morning at the Fern Avenue overpass. You can see there the traffic moving along very well, but it's also a place where TDOT workers can get out and start working very quickly if an accident does happen. TDOT says that this year alone there have been 29 incidents where a driver has crashed into TDOT equipment or vehicles. Last year, 22 people died in work zone crashes in our state. Now, highway workers are out trying to fix the road, fixing potholes, repaving, and picking up litter and a lot more. So they want to make sure that people go out of their way, show a little appreciation to the hard work that's being done, and take the time to slow down and move over. Reminder, we do have a move over law here in Tennessee. If you see those flashing lights on the shoulder, you're encouraged to slow down or change lanes. There is a bill that would require public school employees to tell parents if their child is transgender and is using different names or pronouns. Now, this did pass the State House just yesterday. The bill is sponsored by Republican Representative Mary Littleton. She says that parents have the right to know what's happening in schools. Representative Littleton also said that the legislation was needed so that parents could know if their children would need therapy. Democratic lawmakers disagreed, to say the least.
Second of all, these are the most vulnerable kids in our state who are just trying to make it out of middle school alive. And we are weaponizing their identity instead of actually passing bills that help Tennesseans.
Other lawmakers argue that the bill would expose children to danger if their parents are abusive. This bill will now return to the state Senate for another vote to try and reconcile the House and Senate versions of this particular piece of legislation. Metro Police said they're looking for the man responsible for a deadly crash that happened last November. This is the man they're looking for right here. He's 27-year-old Nicholas Abdul-Wali. They say he was driving 70 miles per hour on Murfreesboro Pike when he crashed into Miguel Sanchez Lara's car. That crash killed the 60-year-old man. Abdul-Wali has not turned himself in. Police do not know where he is. If you do, you're asked to call investigators. A tribute this morning to a fallen Memphis police officer that happened at the state capitol. The full state Senate still stood in honor to remember the Memphis police officer, Rusty McKinley, who was shot to death in the line of duty late last week. After a moment of silence, Senator Ben Taylor, who represents that part of Memphis, offered a prayer for the McKinney family and for those who are still trying to cope with this particular tragedy.
He was a brave and dedicated police officer who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty just 3 nights ago. We pray, Lord, for comfort and strength for his wife and daughter, and we ask for comfort and strength for his friends and colleagues on the Memphis Police Department during this very difficult and trying time.
Officer McKinney joined the police department back in 2020. He was killed in a shootout with 2 teenagers near an elementary school. Officer McKinney was 26 years old. There was another victim as well killed in that shootout. One of the suspects also died. Well, the wheels of justice are slowly turning in regards to the Baltimore Bridge collapse. The city of Baltimore is partnering up with a national law firm to hold any parties responsible for that collapse accountable and to lessen any harm to the city's residents. Meanwhile, attorneys representing the victims and their families are slamming a 173-year-old law that is serving as a legal shield for the container ships and their owner.
This was all preventable. That is why we've been brought in to investigate and find out what has happened and give these families a voice. Because the thing that's getting lost right now is the voice of the victims. These people's lives mattered.
Now, they claim that the limitation of the Liability Act of 1851 is denying the families the claims against the Grace Ocean. They want Congress to repeal that law. The development comes as the FBI has opened up a criminal investigation into that disaster. Well, coming up, going to sports action, the Nashville Predators coming off last night's game to secure the #1 wildcard spot, plus some players who got to show off a little bit last night. And the sounds are beginning.
You looking for some natural stones? How about Black Pearl Leather? Very popular, 15% off with this ad. Slide on down to Eurostone, come see these deals. 805 Northwest Broad Street. Come and see me, baby.
Good morning. Time right now is 4:24. We're waking up to a code red weather alert, not for anything happening right now. There'll be a few showers out there this morning through about 9, 10 o'clock, and then everything dries out. We're up to 86 degrees. Nashville Sounds back home again tonight. If you're going to the game, 83 degrees at 6 p.m. First pitch, 6:35. It's tail wagging Tuesday. 77 degrees. Your temperature at 8 p.m. and then 10 o'clock, 74. Nothing to worry about. After midnight, however, is why we're in code red. Midnight through 6 a.m., the possibility of a strong storm or two cannot be ruled out. And then noon through 6 p.m. tomorrow, 1 or 2 more strong storms cannot be ruled out. When I say by ruled out, it's not a guarantee we get anything that we can't handle, but the possibility is going to be there. So what you do, get the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app right there on your screen. Just scan that QR code, go to either of the app stores depending upon your device. You want to have ways to get alerts at night while you're trying to sleep. This is a good way to go about that overnight tonight, again into tomorrow morning.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 425. Here's a quick look outside at I-65 at Trinity Lane there on the north side. As you can see there, traffic moving along pretty well. No big problems out there so far this morning. Let's get you to your drive times. We're all in the green. 27 minutes in from Mount Juliet, 51 from Murfreesboro, 26 minutes in from Franklin. We'll continue to watch the roads out there for you this morning. A little sports action this morning. The Nashville Predators end the regular season with a loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but they do secure the #1 wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Plus, defenseman Jeremy Lauzon snagged an NHL single season record for hits with 383.
It's pretty awesome. It's something that I wanted to achieve, and being able to achieve it at that age. I'm pretty young here, and I still have a lot of years, so no, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you saw him one of the hits right there. Okay, this isn't baseball. He means, shoulder shots there. The Penguins did defeat the Predators 4-2 in Pittsburgh. Philip Forsberg scored for the Preds last night, living up to the name Scoresburg with 48 goals. That's a career high this year. Nyquist also scored as well, getting 75 points for the season for his goals and assists as well. But again, Pens win. They needed to really win this game 4-2. Well, the Preds will most likely face the Vancouver Canucks in round 1 with about a 20% chance that they face the Dallas Stars instead. There's still a very small chance they could be facing the Edmonton Oilers. By the way, games 3 and 4, guaranteed at least, will be at Bridgestone Arena in that upcoming playoff series, no matter who they face. The Nashville Sounds will be facing some bad weather up against the Omaha Storm Chasers. Now, Omaha is affiliated with the Kansas City Royals. The homestand begins at 6:35 p.m. and continues through Sunday night. Also, the Sounds become Nashville's Brewskis with the alternative uniforms inspired by their parent club, the Milwaukee Brewers. But again, don't know what's going to happen with the weather tonight, so stay tuned. Well, coming up, the law to honor the memory of a Belmont University student killed by a stray bullet has passed. The Tennessee legislator, we're going to tell you how the bill tries to close a loophole in the law. And
without talking to your doctor. Who knows what you can do when you do more with less asthma? Your doctor about Dupixent, the most prescribed biologic for asthma.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
A few showers out there on the radar, bottom right-hand side of your screen. Don't worry about that, but we are in a Code Red weather alert for tonight into tomorrow. What you can expect coming up in your forecast in just moments.
Now, also on Fox 17 News this morning, we've got the very latest on the bill after the death of a college student, Julian Ludwig, that would keep those who are found mentally incompetent to stand trial in custody. We're going to tell you how her parents say they want to honor her memory. And Covenant school parents are voicing their opinions on a bill that would allow teachers to carry guns. We're going to tell you why some are not in favor. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4:30 a.m. here on your Tuesday. I'm Justin McFarland. We're going to begin with a Code Red weather alert. Greg Bobus is here to tell us not about the rain falling now, but the stronger storms that could be moving in later.
That is very true. Right now, do not worry. This is a carefree morning. There will be a few showers that are out there. Actually, our morning rain will help keep our temperatures a little more mild to start off the day. And it will also help with the allergies just a little bit for at least the first half of today. So some scattered showers out there right now west of I-65. And they're going to kind of linger here until about 9 o'clock this morning. They'll die down. The afternoon, partly cloudy. Back into the mid-80s once again. But Ashland City, Pegram, you're starting to see the showers moving in as we speak. Pleasant View out through Old Hickory. You get down toward Nashville, Oak Hill, and Brentwood in the next half hour. Light rainfall. There's not going to be any thunder. No lightning this morning. Our code red is for what happens tonight and then tomorrow. 2 rounds possible. The word's bigger for a reason, and conditional threat even bigger. We have to have all the little ingredients in place to make us have any shot at severe weather, but there's enough of them out there that we're concerned, just to give you the heads up. Because midnight through 6 a.m. is the worst time to have storms move in. We're trying to sleep. That's the first possibility, and that's actually a very tiny one. Most of us see no rain overnight tonight. But when we get to the afternoon tomorrow, those of us who don't see rain tonight could work into a stronger storm or two. Everything is very low on the scale when it comes to all of our possible severe weather criteria. Tornadoes, wind, hail, they're all very low, but they're all there. Do not worry about flooding either when it comes to this. This is one of those, know the timing more than the actual threat, because that could be a bigger deal for you. Also, allergy levels are going to be very hard to navigate through once again today. Trees in the severe category when it comes to your allergens. Grass, mold. We're going to have the inhalers, the allergy meds, the nasal sprays, the whole 9 yards. Gusty wind later on this afternoon. Keep that in mind. That's the big story for today. We'll show you a future track here, a brand new update to it, and work you through tonight and tomorrow coming up in the next check of your Code Red forecast. Just know that today is not the day to worry about. It's overnight tonight into tomorrow when our threat builds in.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get you over to I-40 at Spence Lane. This is over just east of downtown. You can see there traffic moving along at a very nice pace over there. No big problems so far as you get out on the road this morning. We do anticipate that traffic will increase as the morning goes on. Right now, though, we're doing really, really nice as you get out there. We will continue to have your coverage with Steer Clear Traffic live and local with you through 9. Well, Jillian's Law is now on the way to the governor's desk. Governor Bill Lee will have the option to sign it. This is after that law was named after the Belmont freshman, Jillian Ludwig. Now, she died back in November when police say that a stray bullet hit her while she was walking in a park. Metro Police say that Shaquille Taylor fired that shot. Documents show that he was out on the streets after doctors ruled him incompetent to stand trial in another case. State lawmakers say this law will close that loophole, something that her parents are very passionate about.
An emotional day today for sure to see it come to fruition, and the pace that it went through the legislature. It's really a testament to the quality of the law and a testament to Jillian.
Jillian's parents tell Fox 17 that they started a foundation in her honor called Ray of Light. Ray is her middle name. It's a mission to help children learn music, something that she was very passionate about. Continuing coverage in the wake of the Covenant School shooting, some parents have become outspoken advocates for change. Some spoke at the state capitol yesterday. Now, Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker is giving us a live look from outside the Capitol, where, remember, lawmakers are scheduled to wrap up session later this week. You can see that white flag waving at the bottom. That is the flag that waves only when lawmakers are in session. So that flag could be coming down soon. In the meantime, some parents believe that allowing teachers to carry guns is a flawed idea because it creates the expectation of them functioning as school resource officers, which they are not. So listen.
The Senate sponsor, Senator Bailey, stated in the Judiciary Committee that all armed teachers would be expected to act in the same way as an SRO during a school shooting. This means they would leave their classrooms and pursue an active shooter. But who would be protecting our children in their classrooms?
Something else that Covenant parents worry about is school staff not knowing who's actually armed, leading to more confusion during an active shooter situation. Murfreesboro police need your help piecing together what led up to a deadly road rage shooting that happened this past weekend. We are now learning the name of the man who died in that incident. Investigators say the shooter is this man right here, 39-year-old Joseph Gann. Police say that he fired at a group of motorcyclists on Saturday while driving on South Rutherford Boulevard. 49-year-old Paul Howe died in that particular shooting. Another 48-year-old man survived with a gunshot injury to his arm. Police say although the alleged shooter turned himself in, they still don't know exactly what led up to that shooting. If you have any information about this case, you're asked to call police. Well, coming up, TriStar Health wants to build a new hospital in Spring Hill. We're going to tell you what that facility could bring to the community. Plus, a Clarksville resident.
I think smart, talk smart, get smart. You are smart, smarty pants.
We got to unleash the power.
Woo! Weeknights at 5 on Fox 17.
Good morning. Time right now closing in on 4:40. We're in a code red weather alert for tonight and tomorrow, not for right now. So we're waking up here, getting our Tuesday going. We're already warm. We're at 67 degrees, but a few scattered rain showers going to move through during the first few hours of this morning, and then we're good for the afternoon and the evening. Really through about 9 a.m., a little light rainfall is possible. I want to carry you through tonight and tomorrow for our possibility of a few thunderstorms. So here's your Tuesday. All day long, not much to worry about for the afternoon. Warm again. Temperatures easily in the mid to upper 80s. And allergies rough once again. Very similar to yesterday. The only big change is a few showers out of this morning. Now here's overnight tonight. Especially through southern Kentucky, the possibility of 1 or 2 strong storms we cannot rule out. But every time we're looking at this has been dying down for us when it comes to a storm threat overnight. Very, very limited rain showers going into tomorrow morning. But we want this rain here very early at 8 a.m. The more rain we get, the better, because that means the afternoon, our storm chance goes down. So if this holds true, it means our severe threat for tomorrow will go to close to 0 very quickly. But overnight tonight, 1 or 2 strong storms. And then going into tomorrow afternoon, also 1 or 2 strong storms. No one to mow. Do it today. If you do not, your Wednesday and your Thursday, with that potential for showers and thunderstorms, not going to be as opportune to get out there and get that last minute yard work done before we get a little more active.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out to the very latest happening here at I-24. This is at Hickory Hollow Parkway. As you can see there, traffic is moving along despite the fact we've got crews picking up construction cones. So again, keep in mind it is the National Week to be aware about the road workers out there. They're asking people to slow down and be especially mindful because crews are out there working. But so far, again, no big problems out there this morning. Crews are seemingly just fine doing their work out there in Antioch. We'll continue to watch the roads for anything else that we find. In health news, TriStar Health wants to open up a full-service hospital down in Spring Hill. That building that facility could cost around $250 million, and TriStar says that the hospital would bring an estimated 3,000 jobs to the area. Now, if approved, the hospital would go very close to the Saturn Parkway at Kedron Road, at the same spot as the current TriStar emergency room that's already there. The hospital would include 68 beds as well as an intensive care unit and labor and delivery unit and a lot more. A public information meeting about the plan is scheduled for May the 14th from 5 until 7 at the Community Baptist Church there in Spring Hill. We'll keep you up to date as this story develops. Clarksville police are now asking for the public's help to catch a man wanted for aggravated burglary. Watch here. This is surveillance video from the home in the Clarksville area at the end of last month. Police are looking for the man wearing blue jeans, a blue jacket, and a white mesh baseball cap. This is directly behind the victim's residence. If you know who this person is, you are asked to contact the Clarksville Police Department. A reminder, you can remain anonymous and still be eligible for a cash reward. Well, coming up, one state is joining an agreement that would give future presidential contests to the winner of the popular vote. See how that goes. Plus, the state lawmakers had some things to say about tasty
storms on your phone. Use interactive radar. The Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. Local weather from local experts. Download the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather app now.
.45 is the time. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. All things calm in Metro Center for now. But things will be changing, especially later in the evening. That is when we are expecting some storms to start to move in. Greg Bobus has got the very latest on your Code Red Weather Alert coming up in just minutes. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armor on the movie set Rust, has now been sentenced to 18 months in prison for the fatal shooting back in 2021 on the New Mexico movie set. Now, prosecutors say that she loaded a live round of ammo into a revolver, which the actor Alec Baldwin ultimately fired, hitting a cinematographer. Baldwin says he was not aware that the gun was loaded. Gutierrez Reed was also faced heavy criticism for unprofessional behavior on the set. Phone records have been released from her jail conversations. She called the jurors in the case idiots and said the judge was on a power trip. Despite her pleas for probation, the judge gave her the maximum sentence she could receive. The state of Maine will join a multi-state effort to elect a president by popular vote. Now, the state's Democratic governor says she's allowing the legislation to become law without her signature. Under the proposed agreement, each state would award all of its electoral votes to whoever wins the national popular vote for president. So far, 16 states, as well as Washington, D.C., have already joined this agreement. The compact needs at least 270 electoral votes to take effect, and Maine's votes brings that total to 209. It will not play a role in the upcoming November elections. Well, across the state this morning, lawmakers are taking part in a bit of a lighthearted debate for a change. Yesterday, they were talking about whether or not to add Memphis-style barbecue to the list of the official Tennessee foods. Well, the measure passed the House and was before the full Senate yesterday afternoon. Now, you'd think food is one thing that Republicans and Democrats could get together on, but even this bill generated, in this case, some good-hearted conversation.
Making Memphis barbecue the state's official state food, I think, is unfair to the folks of East Tennessee that make pretty good barbecue.
Having lived in both East Tennessee and Memphis, I'd have to say that West Tennessee barbecue is much better.
We also have the World Barbecue Fest every year, the Memphis and May Barbecue Fest, that brings thousands of people from across the world into Memphis to experience our culture around barbecue.
Yes, I would just like to know if the hot slaw would go with the Memphis barbecue.
Of course, hot slaw from over in East Tennessee. Okay, then don't forget about the hot chicken right here in Nashville. Well, the House and Senate did agree on a single bill to celebrate Memphis barbecue. It is now moving forward to the governor's desk. Well, scientists say the eastern U.S. should brace itself for more tornadoes, sometimes thought to be a natural disaster that is focused mainly in the heartlands and the Great Plains and here in the South. Researchers are now noting that an area of high risk of tornadoes appears to be shifting to the east. One researcher blames the shift in the change in precipitation patterns and, of course, the ongoing debate about climate change.
Also, we've noted that because of our changing climate, our overnights are a little bit warmer, right? So if you're holding more warmth, you're holding maybe some more instability into the night. Now you're driving the chance for stronger storms into the night, maybe some more nocturnal type tornadoes as well.
Scientists say that although tornadoes are year-round events, late April to mid-May is when the strongest twisters can occur. Speaking of that, we're code red right now. Greg Bobus has got the very latest on today's threat. Greg, what are we facing out there today?
Today itself, daylight hours, nothing to worry about right now. A few showers in a few of our westernmost communities where you can see very, very light rainfall. Do not worry about this here this morning. We'll talk about, though, Dickson going out to the Centerville area, moving up through Clarksville. These are some spots that are seeing light rain. There has not been a single clap of thunder overnight, and there won't be. These will die down once the sun comes up. The atmosphere will calm down, and we'll be okay for the rest of the day. Not much to worry about there, but tonight into tomorrow, you want to bake a weather cake? That's what we're going to be doing here. That's how our weather pattern is going to be. You need every little ingredient to make it perfect, or it's just not going to happen. So what do we need? We need to have some sort of cold front move in because that lifts up air. We'll have a real weak one here. We're going to have it, though. Enough moisture in the atmosphere to kind of churn that up when it moves in. We'll have a little bit of that work in there for you here. This is the most delicate weather cake we're trying to bake here. If storms can get going, they can become strong, but the words get going are what we have to work with here. The bottom line, watching out for 2 rounds of storms, midnight through 6 a.m., overnight tonight into tomorrow. 1 or 2 stray strong storms are possible, and then noon through 6 p.m. tomorrow, Again, strong storms are possible, but it's that cake scenario. It's very conditional. If we don't have everything work, we get nothing. We hope we get nothing, but we're giving you the heads up here a day out that today is going to be okay. Middle 80s, right side of your screen, waking up in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees to start your Tuesday.
All right, everyone, steer clear traffic as you get out and about there. On this particular morning here, on this Tuesday morning, we've got to tell you about I-65 at the I-24 junction there north of town. You can see traffic there moving along really nicely. No big problems up there so far. Things can change quickly up there on the north side, but right now we're doing just fine. We're also dealing with construction over at I-24 near Hickory Hollow. Looks like they have picked up all the barrels and you're good to go coming in from the Antioch area. Tesla is now laying off more than 1/10 of its workforce. The electric vehicle manufacturer based down in Austin, Texas, is making the move following disappointing sales in the first quarter. The company's CEO, Elon Musk, sent employees a memo detailing the plans. Around 14,000 workers could be affected. The company employs more than 140,000 people worldwide. Analysts say that Tesla has been losing ground to EV makers in China that have been ramping up manufacturing for sales in China and elsewhere. A small plane made an emergency landing into the ocean just off the coast of Southern California this weekend. The plane went down near the Trump National Golf Course there. The pilot and his dog were not hurt and swam safely to shore. Wow. The video shows the pilot with his dog talking to investigators. You can see them right there. The sheriff's department says that the pair were flying from Santa Monica Beach to Long Beach when one of the engines in the plane failed. The plane later sank. Again, nobody was hurt. What a story they've got to tell. Well, coming up, there's one place this weekend where you can see trees in full bloom, plus all the gardens, and you can bring your dog along. We're going to tell you about Cheekwood's Dogs and Dogwoods happening soon. And after research shows children are taking dangerous
infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Show off to the world. Ask your eczema specialist about Dupixent.
Well, good morning, everyone. At 4:55 is the time. We're going to check in with Greg Bobis coming up here in the next few minutes. He's got the latest on your forecast. You're taking a live look there over First Horizon Park, where the Nashville Sounds are set to open up against Omaha coming up here not too long from now, but they've got to compete with the rain first. Greg will have the very latest on that coming up in a few minutes. Well, looking ahead to this weekend, where can you find furry friends? Well, of course, over at Cheekwood Estates and Gardens. It's time for their Dogs and Dogwoods event that's happening over there on this Saturday Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. You and your dog, look at the fluffy dog out there. You can take a look at the merchants selling dog items, eat tasty dog food, of course, for dogs and humans. And you can see Cheekwood's collection of dogwood trees. Now, Cheekwood has 238 trees throughout the gardens. Dog must always be on a leash, okay? Well, my dog is okay. No, they have to be on a leash, okay? They are allowed inside the buildings. You can find a link to buy tickets on our website at fox17.com. Now let's get to Greg. He's standing by with a look at your code red weather alert. Pay attention, everyone.
Yes, and this is because it's very conditional when it comes to the timing, and it's not going to be today. Right now, a few light rain showers going to be out there, so your morning dog walk might be a little bit on the rainier side, especially if you're west of I-65. Whatever rain we get today, do not worry about. We're going to stay in the 60s throughout the morning. Very mild, very warm this afternoon. Once again, mid to upper 80s. Keep that in mind. We're starting off at 66 degrees in Nashville. We'll drop a degree or two more, as you just saw, but for the most part here, we're going to keep it very warm for the foreseeable future. Future track giving us nothing for the afternoon, some good flashes of some sunshine before we do hit the middle 80s. So why are we code red? Overnight tonight, between midnight and 6 a.m. This is going to happen. Very weak line of storms move in, but if they do hold together long enough, they could give us 1 or 2 bursts of some stronger wind gusts. So keep that in mind. Tomorrow morning, a little bit of rain also tracks in, and then the afternoon, noon through 6 p.m., depending upon what happens overnight. And tomorrow morning, there could be 1 or 2 more strong storms in the forecast. We'll take a look at that afternoon scenario. We'll look at your 7-day forecast. And unfortunately, I keep dropping the temperatures for the upcoming weekend. We'll detail that as we go into our 5 o'clock half hour.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. I just want to give you a heads up about something that happened yesterday. This is I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard in Brentwood. Now, things look okay right now, but when the sun comes up later today, you may see a really huge dark spot there in the middle of the road. That is because there was a massive oil spill that had the interstate shut down for a little while yesterday in the mid-morning hours here on 65 at OHB in Brentwood. So as you make that drive down from the Brentwood exit towards Nashville, you may be able to see some leftovers of that crash. But again, the interstate is reopened. No more problems out there, at least not right now. We'll continue to follow things with steer clear traffic as we are accident-free out there on the interstates. A health alert to pass along this morning. Childhood emergency rooms or childhood emergency room visits are now on the rise because kids are accidentally taking melatonin. Now, makers of the melatonin supplements are now being asked to tighten standards. The Council for Responsible Nutrition is giving those supplement producers 18 to 24 months to add child deterrent packaging and more warnings on labels for the over-the-counter products. Melatonin regulates the body's natural sleep-wake cycle, but it's also a dietary supplement and is not federally regulated. A report last month from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention found that 11,000 children had ER visits between 2019 and 2022 after ingesting melatonin while unsupervised.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Waking up on a Code Red weather alert, not for any weather today, but tonight and tomorrow. The chance for strong storms. We'll look at that in just moments.
And this morning at 5 o'clock on Fox 17 News This Morning, police say they've arrested the last suspect in the shooting death of a security guard.
Plus, Covenant School parents voicing their opinions on a bill that would allow teachers to carry guns. Why some of the parents that we're hearing from say they're not in favor. Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Let's get straight to our top headlines this hour. We are getting constant updates from Greg regarding our Code Red weather alert and what you should and maybe shouldn't be concerned about this go-round.
Yeah, this is one of those Code Red weather alerts where it's all very dependent upon a lot of things happening in order at the right time to possibly see some strong storms. Right now, you're going to get a little bit of rain this morning. Nashville just starting to get our first showers of the morning, up through Clarksville, out toward Dickson. Lightning indicator on, not a single lightning strike overnight into this morning, and I anticipate none this morning as well. This is not why we're Code Red, so any light rainfall that we get right now, do not worry about it. Here's the big setup. 2 rounds of potentially strong storms are possible. Overnight tonight's the first one, midnight through 6 a.m. And the second one is noon tomorrow through 6 p.m. Here's what has to happen. Tonight has to work perfectly to make tomorrow work perfectly. It's a conditional threat. Every little ingredient that we're going to have here needs to be there. Otherwise, we don't get any severe weather whatsoever. So we're hoping that things kind of fall apart overnight into tomorrow. What does it mean as far as threats go? Very low end for all the big 3. The big 3 being hail, wind, and tornadoes. Wind is the higher one here. We could get 1 or 2 storms that get a little bit gusty. We're not worried about flooding. What is not going down and has not gone down, regardless of if we get severe weather, it will be our allergy outlook today and into tomorrow. Tree allergens are just beyond severe. We don't have an extra category. I would put that there. It'd be purple. It would say beyond severe. Weeds, grass, and mold are all there on the list. You're going to notice it once again today. Keep that in mind. We have new looks at Future Track, and they are very hit and miss when it comes to each time we just get an update to it when it comes to storms overnight tonight and also tomorrow. 7-day forecast. Today is not the day to worry about. We're relatively dry starting around 9 o'clock this morning all the way through the afternoon and evening. Yesterday we hit 86 degrees. We missed the record high by 1 degree. Once again today we'll push for 87 with a big cool down toward the upcoming weekend.
Oh, it's so hot outside. Okay, 5:02 is the time. We're going to check in now with your Steer Clear traffic update. How about a live look? We're taking you to Antioch. This is going to be I-24 over at Harding Place, and you can see for yourself no issues at hand. But we know as the Tuesday morning commute picks up, that certainly is going to look a lot different. We'll continue sharing all of your Steer Clear traffic updates, though, throughout 9 o'clock.
5:03, let's kick off your Tuesday with some of the other top headlines you'll want to know about before you walk out the door today. This will mark day 2 of Mr. Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial. Day 1 officially ends with no jurors selected. More than half of the first group of about 200 jurors got dismissed when asked whether they could be impartial in the trial. And they could not be. The selection process will start back up today.
And we're also talking about the Olympics. The flame for the 2024 Paris Olympics has been lit over in Paris, or Greece, I should say, where the Asian Games were initially played. By the way, the opening ceremony for the Games are going to take place July 26. It's happening over in Paris.
And an interesting development here to a story that we've been following for quite some time, especially being Music City and all the events that we have here. The Department of Justice is now reported to be filing an antitrust lawsuit against Live Nation and Ticketmaster. That's according to the Wall Street Journal, just out this morning, connected to the ticket debacles and the bot concerns that have been raised over the last couple of years.
Big story there.
Yeah.
In Operation Crime and Justice back here at home, Metro Police, they have named 18-year-old Tyler Phan as the third and final suspect regarding a deadly shooting of a security guard last month.
Police tell Fox 17 News that Phan, whose picture is on your screen right now, is one of 3 men who broke into cars outside of Illusion Bar and Lounge. When Maurice Thomas Jr. went to check the noise, police say they shot the security guard several times, killing him. We have more on the other arrests on our website, fox17.com.
Right now, we're getting to continuing coverage in the wake of the Covenant School shooting over in Green Hills. There are some parents that have truly become very outspoken advocates for change.
And a lot of them took their message to the state capitol just yesterday. This morning, Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker giving us this live look from the Capitol. Nice start to the morning here. These parents, though, believe that allowing teachers to carry guns is a flawed idea because they claim it creates the expectation that they have to function as an SRO.
The Senate sponsor, Senator Bailey, stated in the Judiciary Committee that all armed teachers would be expected to act in the same way as an SRO during a school shooting. This means they would leave their classrooms and pursue an active shooter. But who would be protecting our children in their classrooms?
Now, that parent you just heard from there is Mary Joy. She is very outspoken. She says that something else that Covenant School parents that have told her they worry about is school staff not knowing who is armed, leading to, she believes, more confusion during an active shooter situation.
A group of investors wanted to revive the Yellow Trucking Company. Remember we told you about this last week? Well, it looks like, their attempt may not be successful. Why the Nashville company is not coming back.
And we're talking about international headlines. Pro-Palestinian
Weather app.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It's 5:08 right now. A group of investors has now dropped their attempt to revive bankrupt trucking company Yellow. Now, Yellow, in case you aren't familiar with the story as we reported on it last year, Yellow is the Nashville-based trucking company that folded up, filed for bankruptcy, leaving a lot of people without jobs last July.
Yeah, folks who were getting ready to retire, so it was a terrible situation. Fox 17 News shared the story of the shutdown that left, as you mentioned, Jen, tens of thousands without jobs. Well, yellow was over $1.3 billion in debt and potentially owed more. Billions we're talking about to pension funds and so many others.
So we had this local company that was trying to bring back yellow. Auto carrier Jack Cooper Transport was trying to keep the company from auctioning off its facilities and all of their equipment. Their efforts have failed. So it looks like yellow will be no more, and all of their equipment and whatnot will be going to auction.
Now to a story trending on Fox17.com. Pro-Palestinian protesters causing major delays in cities across the country. Showing you some video right behind us here because it happened in Seattle, also in California's Bay Area. In Seattle, take a look at this. Protesters, they blocked traffic into the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport for hours. Folks were having to walk to the airport. Take a look at this scene over in Oakland, California. People brought barrels filled with concrete onto the interstate, and then they chain themselves to those barrels. Meanwhile, over in San Francisco, there were demonstrators who blocked southbound lanes over on the Golden Gate Bridge for hours. And I mean, this was backing up traffic for miles and miles. Folks were frustrated. Now, the actions were part of worldwide protests against Israel's war in Gaza. The California Highway Patrol said 36 people were ultimately arrested on charges, including unlawful assembly and resisting arrest.
You are not alone if you waited until the last minute to file your taxes. Tax day is now come and gone. The IRS commissioner says more than 1 million returns typically come in every hour.
Whoa.
On April 15th.
What?
Right? That's a lot. And not counting the last week, the agency had received about 102 million returns, which is 70% of the expected filings. This season, the IRS launched a pilot program allowing you to file your federal taxes for free. The agency says about 2/3 of taxpayers can expect a refund this year.
Here's the question, though. We want to hear from you. Are you getting a tax refund this year? Are you happy? How are you feeling?
You know, the tax refund story is an interesting one because technically, right, goal would be you come out even. You don't owe anything and you don't get a huge refund, because if you don't get a huge refund, that means you've got your deduction set up properly and you get to keep more of your money throughout the course of the year.
That's the goal.
Right, so you keep more of the money that you earn up front year round versus giving too much to the government and maybe or maybe you don't get a return. So,
sound off.
Right now, 53% of you say no, you are not getting a refund this year. It's open, it's live, it's active. Scan that QR code right now to vote.
I owed like $24.
See, you're really, that's good. You're really close,
You
Greg.
can't be much closer
That's
to it.
really
So
good.
winning there, and we're also winning today. A couple light showers out there, moving into the Nashville area right there on the radar. We're code red for tonight into tomorrow. We'll take a look at that on Future Track in your forecast.
And we're taking a live look in your Steer Clear traffic update. I-40, 44th Avenue. This is West Nashville giving you the green light for this area.
And a bill that would require...
Stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your eczema specialist about Dupixent.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
5:14 is the time, and right now we are in a code red weather alert. So we do want to talk about the timeline because folks tend to get a little bit antsy.
Don't worry
all
about
the
those red lights.
things.
You are so right. Like, the timing is everything. You wake up, you go, oh no, we're seeing the code red things going off and the bells and the whistles. Not today. But you're also getting a little rain in some spots right now too. So it's good to have that little reassurance. This morning is not a big deal. Taking a look here on radar, we have no lightning, no thunder, no heavy rainfall. Just a light shower here over the Nashville area, pushing out toward Clarksville and Dickson. Real slow mover, but it's trying to keep its way moving toward the east. Taking a look, Springfield all the way down through Greenbrier, Juliet, and then Nashville. So we're talking, 24 coming into town from the northwest, and then now we're starting to see that influence 65 north and south of Nashville. A little light rainfall, nothing heavy by any means. Tracking toward the east, Hendersonville, Old Hickory, Mount Juliet in the next 15 minutes. You'll get this little bit of light rainfall that moves in as well. Windshield wipers going, umbrella for just a couple of hours. By about 9, 10 o'clock this morning, we are done. Code red for this. Watching 2 rounds, midnight tonight through 6 a.m., overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. 1 or 2 stray strong storms, especially in our northwesternmost counties. Think Clarksville on north and west. The best chance for 1 or 2 of those that could give us some decent wind overnight. They'll die down, and then midnight, through 6 a.m. If we don't get rain, we have to watch noon through 6 p.m. tomorrow. Strong storms are possible. The less rain we get overnight, the better our chance for 1 or 2 storms that could fire up that give us some weather we have to watch a little more closely throughout that time frame. So round 1 completely tells us what's going to happen with round 2, which is good because by this time tomorrow morning we'll have a really good feel for it. But we're code red, not for today. Warm again, 87 degrees this afternoon, low to middle 80s for your Wednesday and Thursday. Many more dry hours than rainy hours, but those 2 time frames we have to watch very carefully.
Steer clear traffic out here for you this morning at 5:17. Quick look here at I-40. Now, this time yesterday, we had 1 truck, 1, sleeping on the shoulder. Today, oh boy, it's kind of crowded. I'm not sure if they were running a special or what the deal was. If you pulled over here on the shoulder of the road at I-40 at White Bridge, but people are taking advantage. Multiple trucks out here sleeping on the shoulder of the road. Nothing out of the ordinary. Sometimes we see 1, other nights we see a dozen. So tonight we're having to see that dozen or so, or this morning. So heads up as you travel over there in West Nashville. Nothing though big holding you up. We'll continue to follow the roads out there for you, let you know anything that we do find.
Justin, thank you. 5:17 happening right now. A Work Zone Awareness Week is in effect, and TDOT is asking everybody to move over and slow down to show extra caution for all of our highway workers.
We have our Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey, who is live right over there on the Fern Overpass, giving us a good look of an area that is going to be a whole lot busier in just a couple of hours.
Heck yeah, Kevin, I love this shot.
Beautiful.
This is giving us a great perspective. This is the interchange of I-24, I-40, and I-65. I know that's a mouthful, but this is just north of downtown Nashville, as you would be coming, say, down into Nashville from north of town, or maybe you're heading out toward Memphis. Big interchange, always a lot of work. In fact, they've been doing work on one of these bridges here for the last couple of weeks. And so TDOT telling us that there have been 29 accidents so far just this year.
Wow.
Where drivers have crashed into TDOT equipment or TDOT trucks. And last year, 22 people died in work zone crashes here in our state.
Yeah, highway workers are out there on the road. They're fixing those potholes, repaving, picking up litter, and so much more. So it's truly an important way to go ahead this week, show that you appreciate their hard work, take the time to slow down and move over.
That's right. It is the law, by the way, here in Tennessee. Metro Police tell Fox 17 News they are looking for the man responsible for a deadly crash last November. Let's take a look here at the man they are looking for. This is 27-year-old Nicholas Abdul-Wali. They say he was driving his car 70 miles an hour on Murfreesboro Pike when he crashed into Miguel Sanchez Lara's car. That crash killed the 60-year-old man. Abdul-Wali has not turned himself in. Police say they don't really even know where he is. But if you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers.
Well, happening now, there is a bill that would require public school employees to tell parents if their child is transgender using a different name or pronouns. The State House passed the bill just yesterday, so we're trying to bring you up to speed and give you more of the details. The bill is sponsored by Republican Representative Mary Littleton, and she said parents have the right to know what's happening in schools. Well, Littleton also said the legislation was needed. That way parents could know if their students would need therapy. Democratic lawmakers disagreed.
Second of all, these are the most vulnerable kids in our state who are just trying to make it out of middle school alive. And we are weaponizing their identity instead of actually passing bills that help Tennesseans.
Now, other lawmakers argue that the bill would expose children to danger if their parents were abusive. But the bill will now return to the Senate for another vote to try to reconcile the House and the Senate versions of this legislation. We'll be sure to let you know what happens next. And Fox 17 News now learning how one of the men who was on the Francis Scott Key Bridge when it collapsed survived. What a story here. Attorneys representing him say that he was in his car when the bridge went down. It had a manual window, so he was able to roll it down to get out. He cannot swim, but he held on to floating debris until rescuers got there. What a miracle. The man lost family members, though, who were also working construction on the bridge. 6 men in all died that we know of. 2 survived. This man's attorneys say that he will address the media at some point.
This is the step that I took. This is the bill that I filed. This is the family that I'm fighting for.
You're acting like you're the only one who cares in here. Do something.
Well, passions on display before the vote to pass.
Savings on the hottest deals, 4K TVs, computers, appliances, Bluetooth speakers, and more. Don't miss out. Sale ends Sunday at 7 p.m. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Coming up on 524 on this Tuesday morning, for months now, Fox 17 News has been reporting on the life of Jillian Ludwig. She was the young Belmont student who was shot and killed in a city park by a stray bullet fired by someone who police say probably should never have been out of jail to begin with. It crafted something called Jillian's Law. It did pass the House of Representatives 92-0. It would bar anyone who has a felony and a mental health history from having a gun. It also puts them on a national background check for the criminals and a database for criminals. But before it passed, some members of the House say this particular bill did not go far enough. And even though it did pass 92-0, it led to some moments like this.
There's so many other things we could do that are sensible, that no law-abiding citizen, no gun owner in this state has a problem with. The only people who have a problem with most of these suggestions are in this room, unfortunately.
Let's take a good step together and show folks in Tennessee how we can join together and actually make this state safer. If we did that more often, maybe we would get more done on this issue instead of just pontificate about it. Because this is the step that I took. This is the bill that I filed. This is the family that I'm fighting for.
And don't act like I don't care about that family. They shouldn't be here in the first damn place if anybody in here would have acted last year when we were in session doing something. No, you started it. You're acting like you're the only one who cares in here. Do something.
Jillian's family was there to see all this, by the way. We're going to hear from them coming up in a few moments. By the way, both people you heard there, Representative Mitchell and Representative Lambert, both voted for this bill.
525, and we're on a Fox 17 Code Red weather alert here this morning. Not for anything that's going to happen during your Tuesday. This is tonight and then tomorrow. We have 2 rounds of possible storms that are going to be there today. More of the same, more of the heat. We'll be up to 87 degrees. We had 86 yesterday. We had 87 the day before. Taking a look at a very warm and breezy forecast for us. Sunset will be at 7:22, and after midnight is when we have to worry about any potential stronger storms. Weekend outlook, far cooler. We have 2 cold fronts that move in. One that brings in tonight and tomorrow's possible stronger storms, and then a few more storms for your Friday and early Saturday. Look at your temperatures there for the upcoming weekend. 68 degrees on Saturday. 62 will be the high temperature on Sunday. Drier for Sunday, but much, much cooler in the forecast.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 526. Here's a look on the west side of town, I-40 at White Bridge Rail. We were talking about the gang of trucks, the armada over there this morning of trucks headed out there to the west of town. This should thin out a little bit later in the morning. Other things we're watching, I-24 Haywood Lane in Antioch, also looking out for a very nice clean drive so far this morning. No major accidents, no major holdups out there. We'll continue to watch things here for you as we're live and local through 9. Well, up next on Fox 17 News this morning, we're going to have more on Jillian's Law, that college student.
Weeknights at 5 on Fox 17.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Waking up on a Code Red weather alert, not for a few light rain showers out there right now, but tonight into tomorrow. 2 different rounds of possible strong storms. We'll look at those coming up in a few minutes.
And a bill that would allow teachers to carry guns sparked students' walkouts from several metro high schools. What those students had to say.
Steer clear traffic takes us to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. Traffic moving along pretty well. We're going to tell you when the slowdown could begin.
Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. For Fox 17 News this morning, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We have several big stories here to start your Tuesday morning. In our next half hour, and as we get into our 6 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking more about the court date that is set today to review the Covenant school shooters' writings and whether they should be made public. That is developing today. But first, we want to get right over to our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobas, talking about the latest weather threat.
And the threat's going to come tonight into tomorrow. So this is not to scare you here in any way, shape, or form. This is the heads up. Your Tuesday is going to be fine. Now, you may look out the window right now if you're in Nashville, Gallatin, say Springfield. We get out toward Clarksville. Many areas here where we have some light rain showers. Don't worry about that. That'll be done by 9 o'clock. And then we're dry for the rest of today and well back into the 80s by this afternoon. So what is the code red for? 2 rounds of potentially strong storms that are going to move in. Round 1, midnight through 6 a.m. And neither of these are a guarantee. But midnight through 6 a.m. going into tomorrow, the possibility of a few strong storms, especially well to our northwesternmost counties. Think Hopkinsville, Clarksville. We get towards southern Kentucky. And then things die down overnight. If we get a little rain in the morning anywhere across Middle Tennessee, then time frame number 2 becomes less likely. Noon through 6 p.m., a conditional threat. That means that everything has to play out perfectly overnight and into tomorrow morning to possibly see any strong storms. Do not worry about today. Can't stress that enough. Afternoon looks good, a little bit breezy. Allergies are miserable. 87 degrees this afternoon. It'll be our 3rd day in a row in the mid to upper 80s. And then we do get a little bit cooler, kind of day by day, leading toward the upcoming weekend with a few more storms Friday into Saturday.
Steer clear traffic out here for you this morning. Let's get to the very latest happening here on I-40 at 2nd Avenue on the South Loop. As you can see there, traffic moving along really nicely there on that South Loop. No big problems as you come up and around there in that area of the South Nashville South Loop there as you make your way towards 2nd and 4th Avenue. We'll continue to follow things, but in all honesty, there's nothing big happening out there on the roads right now. Your drive time's also looking very nice. Kingston Springs at 27 minutes. Murfreesboro 51 minutes, even though this time is scheduled to grow as the morning moves on.
Justin, thank you. 5:32 is the time, and we do have continuing coverage as some Metro high school students, they walked out of class protesting a bill that would allow teachers to carry in the classroom.
That bill is expected to go before the House tomorrow, and then it passed the Senate last week. So as we look ahead to tomorrow, our Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker joining us live at the state capitol this morning, diving a little bit deeper into the issue. The Capitol, of course, is where students did arrive yesterday after walking out of school carrying signs and chanting. And there were some parents and lawmakers who joined them.
So the students shared worries. Here's some video of them about whether 40 hours of training is enough for teachers and whether people should be informed on who's carrying the guns. In addition, they also said the police and superintendent, they questioned there if they're going to be aware of who's carrying the guns as well. So listen here.
My teachers are expected not just to teach, but to risk their lives to protect students in a mass shooting event. They are expected to be EMTs and have gone through trainings on how to pack a bullet hole wound. Now you expect them to be armed law enforcement.
In a statement to Fox 17 News, the bill's sponsor, Representative Ryan Williams, said that this is all voluntary. He wants to make sure that that does not get skipped over. It's voluntary. And those who would choose to participate would have to go through minimum training and a mental health evaluation.
Yeah, that's important to pick out. As you heard Justin mention a moment ago, after a heated back and forth debate yesterday, Jillian's Law is now headed to Governor Bill Lee's desk.
Jillian Ludwig killed in November. Metro police say the shot fired that killed her was at the hands of a man who doctors found incompetent to stand trial in another case, and then he got released back on the streets.
Fox 17 News' investigative reporter Kelly Avellino is talking about what this bill means for Jillian's family and for Tennessee.
It's certainly a pivotal and emotional day for Jillian Ludwig's family. Jillian's Law passing both the House and the Senate in a near unanimous vote. Jillian's family very moved at the moment this law became reality. The law closes the loophole in Tennessee that had allowed a charged violent offender deemed too mentally unstable to stand trial from getting immediately released back into society. Jillian's law would require those felony defendants to be admitted to a mental health treatment facility. It also bars that suspect from having a weapon and also puts them on a national background check database for criminals.
I'm happy that Jillian's legacy, with her name attached to this bill, will help save lives.
And the struggle is not over for Jillian's family. Shaquille Taylor, charged with firing the bullet that killed Jillian, will have a competency hearing next month to see whether or not he'll face a trial for those charges. Previously, he had been evaluated as functioning on a kindergarten level. Jillian's family saying that Taylor did in fact hold a job, had an apartment, and they say he was able to get rid of the weapon used to kill Jillian.
And Jillian's parents telling me they have now started a foundation in her name called Ray of Light. Ray is Jillian's middle name. This charity to help children learn music, Jillian's passion, also to help make Jillian's law active in other states as well that might have had this same loophole. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Kelly, thank you. 536, taking a live look this morning from New York City, where anti-Israel, pro-Palestine protesters shut down the Brooklyn Bridge. The impact of this protest and others have had nationwide.
Storm Chasers, Saturday and Sunday on MyTV 30.
Injured? Call America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Welcome back. Our time right now is 5:39, and we are in a code red weather alert. Not for today. Screen has Wednesday for a reason. Overnight tonight into tomorrow, and then tomorrow afternoon. 2 chances for some strong to severe thunderstorms in the forecast. By no means a guarantee that we get either of them to pan out. Overnight tonight, if we get nothing, then tomorrow afternoon we have to worry about this. The possibility of a spin-up tornado during the afternoon. We're talking noon through 6 p.m. a week. Cold front going to move in, and we'll talk about cold fronts in about 5 minutes and why some are stronger than others. We'll take a look at the forecast as well when it comes to temperature. But wind, I'm a little concerned about 1 or 2 storms that could be a little dicey when it comes to some damaging wind and possibly even some small size hail. Flooding, not a worry there. Allergies, a worry everywhere. This is still a really, really rough weather pattern when it comes to the breeze, the warm conditions, everything blossoming and blooming at the exact same time. Trees are through the roof when it comes to the allergens. Grass and mold aren't far behind. Keep that in mind. Have the allergy meds ready to go. You got to use them before you have the symptoms. Otherwise, you're fighting a losing battle. Just keep that in mind. Make sure that your inhaler is not expired if you have to have one of those as a rescue inhaler. All those little things are going to help you out. We'll look at future track here coming up, and we will talk about cold fronts. Why I'm not so concerned about this potential severe thunderstorm threat compared to others that we've seen in recent memory.
Still clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out and about to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. As you make that drive over to the Antioch area, you can see traffic moving along there very nicely. No big holdups coming in from Rutherford County there this morning. Certainly great news for those of you out and about this early hour. So if you're the first person that opens up the door in the morning, the first person that puts on the coffee, you're in good shape. But listen to my warning. This is not going to look like this for much longer. Another 30 minutes, it's going to slow down considerably.
Justin, thank you. 541. I want to take you to Denmark. Pretty crazy video coming out of Denmark this morning where a fire broke out at one of the oldest buildings in Copenhagen. This is the 17th century stock exchange building. Borsen, engulfed in flames. That iconic spire that's been there again since the 17th century has now collapsed. After billows of smoke rose over the building, people were seen then running inside trying to get in there and save historic paintings. Danish media reporting an annex of the parliament evacuated from the building as well. It is not caused what led to this fire, and there are no reports. The good news here, no reports of anyone getting injured.
A headline in the Wall Street Journal, boomers bought up the big homes now. Help!
Now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. Window Nation, the perfect fit.
Welcome back. 5:44 is the time. And Clarksville police, they are asking for the public's help in order to catch a man wanted for aggravated burglary. And we do have some photos to share for you.
All right, let's get to it now. This is surveillance video from the end of last month. Police right now looking for the man who's wearing blue jeans, a blue jacket, and a white mesh ball cap. This is right behind the victim's home. So if you can help, please give Clarksville police a call.
And more Operation Crime and Justice, we're going to take you to Murfreesboro, where police say they need help piecing together what led up to a deadly road rage shooting. It happened this past weekend, and now we are learning the name of the man who died in this entire incident.
So investigators tell Fox 17 News the shooter is the man you see here on your screen, 39-year-old Joseph Gann. Police say he fired at a group of motorcyclists Saturday while driving on Rutherford Boulevard. 49-year-old Paul Howell died. Another 48-year-old man survived a gunshot injury. Police say although the alleged shooter has turned himself in, they still don't know what led up to the shooting. So if you saw something on South Rutherford Boulevard there in Murfreesboro Saturday night, please give police a call.
Right now, though, we're covering international headlines that are making impacts right here in the U.S. because pro-Palestinian demonstrators, they shut down airport highways and key bridges in major U.S. cities. So this was trending on our website.
It's been trending. It has created a whole lot of frustration and downright anger toward the actions that impacted huge swaths of our country. Taking a live look this morning in Miami, where there were several arrests during a pro-Palestine protest there yesterday. Police say a group of more than 100 people tried to block the entrance to the port of Miami.
Oof, a very busy spot.
For sure. Officers showed up in riot gear, on horseback, with motorcycles. State troopers, armored vehicles also worked to contain that crowd.
Yeah, so that demonstration was reportedly part of multi-city protests demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. So we also saw the impacts over in Chicago.
Oh my gosh, Chicago, San Francisco, New York, Miami, San Antonio, Seattle.
Yes.
Across the country, highly disruptive, a lot of arrests. We'll be monitoring things this morning just to see, if anything else is taking shape, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on that live through 9.
Yeah, 5:47. We are in a code red weather alert. Now listen, if you're just now waking up with us, don't get worried. It's not today. It's later tonight, right?
Yeah, midnight through 6 a.m. Real small chance for 1 or 2 strong storms, and then noon through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, kind of the same deal. This is not a big one.
I'm glad you gave me the heads up because we just need to go ahead and make the call now to put the dogs in the bed tonight.
There you go.
Instead of in their crate.
I'm giving you the excuse.
We have a dog with storm anxiety.
I know. I know how it goes.
Yes, I mean, even if it's just windy or she sees a flash of lightning, there's the panic and then she's in the bed.
And then you're up.
So we just need to start off putting the dogs in the bed.
Well, I'm sure they're going to enjoy that.
Yes.
They like it.
Enjoy it while you can.
Take the precautions and then give all the space.
Yeah.
I mean, my dog is that big, but still I'm like this on the edge of the bed, like I have nowhere to sleep. But you know what? That's what we got to do here. Just take the precaution, but don't worry. We're not here to scare you this morning. I'm just giving you the update of what could possibly happen. We're at 66 degrees right now. A few light rain showers have moved through downtown. And here's the setup here. Y'all, let's do a little science here. We'll make it real simple, but let's talk about cold fronts and why this one I'm not so worried about. So let's take a look at why we're going to see what we're seeing. Let's just explain it real quick for you. So a cold front here, basically think about your house if you have 2 stories. Okay, colder air is always on the bottom floor, and then the more elevated you get in your house, the warmer things are. So warm air gets pushed over it. Well, what happens with that, if there's a little bit of moisture with it, that warm air is going to do 2 things. It's going to form clouds. Yeah, so we're going to have those that build. The taller the cold front is, so the stronger it is between the cold air and the warm air, the taller our thunderstorm gets, and that could end up giving you, at times, some stronger thunderstorms. Well, this is a very tiny cold front moving in, not that high in the atmosphere, so the clouds won't be as strong, they won't be as tall, but 1 or 2 strong storms cannot be ruled out. Sometimes they're much more aggressive. This one will take us from 87 degrees today to 82 degrees tomorrow. Not a big cold front, but we're still watching it here in your Code Red forecast.
Steer clear traffic, and let's get you out and about to I-40 at Spence Lane. This is just over east of downtown. You can see their traffic moving along very nicely. No big complaints out there so far for you this morning in either direction. That's exactly what we like to see this time of the morning. Now, we've had some early morning disruptions last week before 6 o'clock where things got really busy. Haven't seen anything like that this morning. Peaceful traffic in all directions out there, including the drive times from Kingston Springs to Murfreesboro to Hendersonville. All these times will grow as the morning goes on.
Justin, thank you. 5:50 right now. Mortgage rates, we know, are not going down anytime soon, but it looks like this week could still be the best time for homeowners to try to sell.
All right, you piqued my interest here. Fox business correspondent Jerry Willis has the story. Listen here.
Sellers have been on the sidelines for 2 years, according to Realtor.com, many waiting for those mortgage rates to fall. But more and more homeowners are feeling the pressure of retirement or a need to downsize or other personal factors. Now, while 50% say they plan to wait out rates, 29% say they need to sell soon for personal reasons. To be sure, sellers are getting more realistic. Just 15% say they expect a bidding war, down from 31% in 2023. Considering listing prices, number of buyers per listing, and seasonal factors like school and vacation schedules, Realtor.com says this week will be the best of 2024 to sell a home.
It's got the most favorable balance of all of these factors for sellers. It suggests they'll be able to sell quickly at a good price and be happy with the outcome.
Importantly, the analysis doesn't consider mortgage rates, which have been on the rise, a big factor for sellers buying a new home as they sell their old one. Freddie Mac's weekly survey showing rates approaching 7% at 6.88%. Bottom line, more sellers throwing in the towel on their wait for lower rates, which could lead to more robust inventory, something buyers have been waiting for. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
All right, Jerry, thank you. Coming up, we're going to explain why it's a beautiful day in Nashville for more ways than one if you're a Lipscomb University student.
And the Sounds start a homestand tonight against a top minor league team.
Being able to practice law with him for 20 years was a dream come true. He taught me to treat clients like family. His legacy will live on at this firm forever.
Welcome back. We're looking ahead. The Nashville Sounds are going to face some bad weather. Well, okay. They're going to be up against the Omaha Storm Chasers.
Hopefully no bad weather here. Omaha is affiliated with the Kansas City Royals. The homestand does start tonight at 6:35. Listening to Greg's forecast, they should be able to get that game in pretty easily tonight with no weather problems. Also, this is kind of fun. As part of this homestand, which starts again at 6:35 tonight, the Sounds will become the Nashville Brewskis.
Ooh. Yes, they have jerseys.
Yes. So
I love them.
They're the affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, and they're becoming the Nashville Brewskis.
Okay.
As kind of a nod to that, they'll have an alternate uniform. Erica's mentioning the jersey, inspired by the Milwaukee Brewers.
I got to get my hand on one of those jerseys, all right? Hey, in your community this morning, Lipscomb University President Candace McQueen, who we've talked to here on Fox 17 News, well, she has declared today a beautiful day on campus.
What does that mean? Well, undergraduate classes are canceled.
Oh.
So students just enjoy the day. They've got all kinds of activities on the campus of Lipscomb. They have carnival rides set up at the quad. They'll be cheering on the Bison baseball team. Go Bison. They're hosting Vanderbilt. This is going to be a huge matchup today. So Lipscomb and Vandy playing at Dugan Field, and then there's some volunteer projects with Hands on Nashville.
All right, I'm about to tweet Candace McQueen and ask her if we can roll on by.
I'm feeling like we should just go and roll for the day so we can have the day off.
Yes. Ooh, I love this.
Just to do all that
It's
fun
a beautiful
stuff.
day at Fox 17 News. Hey, we're going to check in now with our Code Red meteorologist because we are in a Code Red weather alert. Could the weather impact their beautiful day off, Greg?
No, it will not. Not at all. Today's going to be a great day. It'll be 87, very warm, almost just like the last 2 days. Our Code Red is for tonight and then tomorrow. It's not for today. A few light rain showers have been on the radar, kind of on and off. They've died down considerably in the last hour, so enjoy your great day. A little bit of a breeze. The only thing I would say is fight your allergies, and nothing else will fight you back. We have nothing to go with here that we have to worry about. 7:22 will be our sunset. We've already missed our day off, but maybe your evening. Here you go. Take a look. Nashville Sounds, we just mentioned it. First pitch is at 6:35, and nothing to worry about game time. 83 degrees right around first pitch, 77 at 8 o'clock, and then 74 at 10 p.m. A good-looking forecast from start to finish. This weekend, much cooler. Enjoy the warmth while it lasts. Maybe you go, it's a little too hot for me. Well, then when it's 62 degrees and partly cloudy on Sunday, don't tell me it's too cold for you. We're going to have both of the extremes here in the forecast. Today will be right near 87, but that cool down brings two other weather makers. One does come in tonight. That is why we're code red. The possibility of a strong storm or two. We'll look at future track, talk about those threats as we go into our 6 o'clock half hour in just a couple minutes.
Steer clear traffic out there for you. Let's get you to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway as you make that drive in from the Antioch area. We are doing okay, although we've just crossed the hour mark coming in from Murfreesboro. We do it every morning just about, so it shouldn't be all that big of a surprise. But now that drive time coming in from the Antioch area and Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, all of that time is now crossed over an hour. As a matter of fact, we'll get you your latest drive times for the whole area coming up here in our 6 o'clock hour, which begins in a couple of minutes.
In health news now, let's talk about sleep. Nearly 60% of Americans say they could use more sleep. I'm laughing because sleep is
We're
limited.
laughing to keep from crying. Let's just be real. According to a Gallup poll, only 26% of people say they get 8 or more hours of sleep a night.
Okay, yeah.
And you're in the newborn phase still. You're in the baby phase. I've got teenagers who are driving, so either way.
In 2013, that number you just mentioned was 43%. So the reason for the drop, it's unclear, but experts say it could be caused by fast-paced modern life, some more responsibilities, and then revenge, bedtime, procrastination. What?
Okay.
Okay, well, it's a phenomenon where people put off sleep by indulging in relaxation time. Yeah, okay. Like binge watching or mindlessly, scrolling through social media instead of going to bed.
Oh, gosh. The trick here, especially for shift workers like us, and we know a lot of y'all at home are shift workers as well, it's just hard to sleep when nobody else is sleeping. Or like for us, having to put yourself to bed.
Well, everyone else is having fun.
When the rest of the family is doing
We won't talk about how I overslept today, though.
It's okay. Moving on. You're here. That's all that matters. And we're so glad. 5:59 right now. Hey, let's head over to the website, fox17.com, and see what's trending. Did you hear about Caitlin Clark?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, she went #1 in the WNBA draft to the Indiana Fever. Now, great story. Some interesting talking points here. First of all, the salary. She's got a 3-year deal worth $330,000. Comes out to about $76,000 a year to be the #1 draft in the WNBA. Remember when we had Ice Cube on last week? What did Ice Cube say?
$5 million is what he's offering her.
For her to come play in the Big Three.
Right, he says she could do so at the same time. WNBA and then his league.
It'll be interesting to see what she
Take the deal, girl.
Take the money and run.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Waking up on a code red weather alert. Nothing for what's happening right now. A few light rain showers are out there, but tonight into tomorrow, 2 possibilities of severe weather that will time out for you coming up in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic takes us down to Antioch, where things are slowing up a little bit. We'll show you where else things are slowing down coming up in a few.
I saw that sun just trying to peek up, so we're getting there. Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be here for you, your live local news source through 9 a.m. That means for the next 3 hours, we will be tracking all the developments as they come in with this system that Greg is watching. Let's join him now and find the latest updates through this hour.
Yeah, this morning, it might catch you off guard seeing a little bit of rainfall and then hearing us talking about code red. This is not for the morning, afternoon, or evening. Once we get past sunset, really past midnight, a few of us have the chance for a strong storm or two. But we get down, I would say, I-65 from the state line right near Kentucky all the way down toward Nashville. We're seeing some light rainfall. No thunder, no lightning, nothing to worry about. This is actually quickly dying down. It was a little more organized about an hour ago, and most of our day is going to be dry. I'd say by 9 o'clock, we're basically done for the rest of today, but we're watching 2 rounds of potential severe weather. One tonight and one tomorrow. And they're both going to kind of impact each other. The first one is kind of the bigger game player here. If this holds together long enough, then it means what we have tomorrow likely won't give us any strong to severe weather. But if we don't get much overnight tonight between midnight and 6 a.m., if we don't get any strong storms, any rainfall, then between noon and 6 p.m. tomorrow, there'll be just enough going on with the atmosphere where we could see some damaging wind in some spots and a few stronger thunderstorms. Allergies are going to be tough today. Not much to worry about, honestly. Mainly sunny by the second half of today until we get towards sunset. Trees, grass, mold, all of those are difficult to handle once again today. Our code red threat going to be there tonight into tomorrow. And even a few indicators right now. I have a precautionary code red for Thursday. We'll have to see how tomorrow shakes out first. But 1 or 2 storms could pop up during the afternoon of your Thursday. As well today, up to 87 degrees right side of your screen. We're starting off in the mid to upper 60s to kick off your Tuesday.
Clear, clear traffic out there for you for this 6 o'clock hour. Let's get started. 65 at 24 at the north side of town. You can see how the traffic up there is moving along really, really nicely. However, we're starting to see the first slowdowns of the morning as you make that drive in. The rain is not causing us a big delay. It hasn't really moved in yet in a big way. Greg is talking about that happening a little bit later in the evening. But right now, you can see that drive starting to slow up based on pure congestion making this drive in. So let's take a look at the numbers. Kingston Springs at 29 minutes on that drive. Murfreesboro just over an hour now, 63 minutes. Franklin looking good, 26 minutes on that drive.
Justin, thank you. 6:03 right now happening today. The first day of the trial concerning the release of the Covenant School shooters' writings. Covenant School parents have said that they do not want Audrey Hale's writings released, but several groups, including the Tennessee Firearms Association and the Tennessean, have argued for those writings to be released.
So right now we have continuing coverage, and we do want to bring you up to speed on all the details. In the wake of the Covenant School shooting, some parents have become really outspoken advocates for change, and we've heard from them here on Fox 17 News, some speaking, though, at the state capitol yesterday. Right now, our Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker is giving us a live look from the Capitol where so many folks were there yesterday.
Right, and another point in this whole discussion, if you will, is the current debate happening in our legislature involving whether teachers should be allowed to, by choice, carry a firearm. Well, these Covenant parents were speaking out yesterday saying they feel like this is a flawed concept. They think it creates the expectation of teachers to function as SROs, but many of the lawmakers who are in support of this idea wanted to remind people this would be voluntary. Let's listen in.
The Senate sponsor, Senator Bailey, stated in the Judiciary Committee that all armed teachers would be expected to act in the same way as an SRO during a school shooting. This means they would leave their classrooms and pursue an active shooter. But who would be protecting our children in their classrooms?
Now, Mary Joyce is who you just heard from there, and I remember our investigative reporter Amanda Jin speaking with her as she was very outspoken as we marked the 1-year point after the Green Hills shooting at the school. Something else Covenant School parents tell us they're worried about is school staff not knowing who is armed. They say that could lead to more confusion during an active shooter situation.
And a reminder, as it pertains to that legislation regarding whether teachers could carry in school, it is still being debated. This has not been signed into law. It would require a minimum 40 hours of training and psychological evaluations for any teachers who decided they wanted to do that.
Another story happening today. It is Work Zone Awareness Week all week long, and TDOT is reminding drivers to move slower, slow down, and just to really show care for highway workers.
Yeah, it is a law here in Tennessee to move over. They call it the Move Over Law. In fact, in case you've never heard of it, we'll tell you about it. Our Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey live on the scene right now at the Fern Avenue overpass. This is one of the busiest congestion points in all of Nashville. This is just north of downtown as you're approaching. We've got I-24, I-65, I-40 all kind of merging right here. The law here in Tennessee says if you approach an emergency vehicle off on the shoulder or in any lane of traffic and it is safe for you to do so, you by law have to move over one lane to protect them and give them room to work.
And some folks may be asking, why is Work Zone Awareness Week necessary? Well, TDOT says this year there have been 29 incidents where drivers crashed into TDOT equipment in vehicles. And last year, 22 people died in work zone crashes right here in Middle Tennessee.
So, you know, we've got these highway crews out there fixing the potholes. They're repaving. They're picking up trash. They're trying to clear crashes. So the least we can do is slow down and move over.
This is the step that I took. This is the bill that I filed. This is the family that I'm fighting for.
You're acting like you're the only one who cares in here. Do something.
Ooh, passions on display before the vote to pass a law to honor a Belmont student who was killed.
Is easy. Morgan & Morgan. The choice is easy.
.609 is the time. Gillian's Law passed the House of Representatives in the Tennessee State House 92-0. No one voted against it. The law would bar felons with a mental health history from having a gun. It would also put them on a national background database for checks for criminals. But before it passed, some members of the House say this bill did not go far enough, and they were a little unhappy with it, and it led to moments like this.
But I am not willing to stand by and wait 1 second longer to let those folks just roam the streets and murder and hurt people here in Tennessee. And I hope you will stand with me and support this bill, because we have got to force this conversation. We have got to say, look, these folks are going to be incarcerated or in inpatient treatment.
I applaud you. This is going in the right direction. And like you said, if we'd have had this law on the book, or a red flag law, or an ERPO, or a temporary transfer law, the same result we would have today. But again, I applaud you. We're heading in the right direction. And like you said, I'm not willing to wait any longer. I'm sick of people dying in this state. So you're taking a good step in the right direction. Once you take a couple of more steps toward sensible gun laws, and I'll take a couple of more steps towards you.
So we've served together 12 years. I've been consistent the entire time. If somebody has been mentally incapacitated and they've been, put into a mental institution, especially involuntary commitment, or if they've been convicted of a felony, then yes, they lose their Second Amendment rights. In fact, my entire caucus has been consistent on that. So let's join together on this bill, and let's have fights on other bills another day.
Nobody's fighting with you about this. I applaud you for this, but we need to do more. We know we need to do more, but you don't know all the time that someone is mentally ill. Maybe if we had like a 3-day waiting period or something like that, we would catch even more mentally ill people that were off their medicine maybe before they got a firearm.
By the way, the Lubrid family was there to see all of this. Both representatives you just heard from there actually voted for this, but things turned up a lot from there. We're going to hear more from both of those representatives coming up here in our 7 to 8 o'clock hours.
And coming up in your Code Red forecast, we are in a Code Red weather alert for tonight into tomorrow. A live look right there at First Horizon Park. Sounds are back in town. What that could mean for your forecast tonight coming up in a few minutes.
Live look at I-24, Haywood Lane. Things moving along really nicely so far. We're going to show you where some of the slowdowns are starting to mount up. And a bill that would require teachers to tell parents if they're...
The Good Feet Store, improving people's lives 2 feet at a time.
His Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville.
We're talking about politics right now because former President Donald Trump's criminal trial, it got underway yesterday in Manhattan. We showed you live looks in New York City.
Sure did.
It was a madhouse over there.
It has been a spectacle, that's for sure. Day 2 will get underway here in just a couple of hours. Jury selection following that indictment brought against Mr. Trump by District Attorney Alvin Bragg for alleged hush money payments made to former adult film star Stormy Daniels. This was all before the 2016 election. Mr. Trump has denied the allegations, indicted last April, though, accused of falsifying New York business records to conceal crimes. We've got a lot going on here. The trial marks the first criminal trial for any former U.S. president.
A bill that would require public school employees to tell parents if their child is transgender, using a different name or pronouns. Well, the State House passed this particular bill yesterday.
Let's dive into the details here. It is sponsored by Republican Representative Mary Littleton, who says parents have the right to know what's happening in their children's schools. Littleton also said the legislation was needed so that parents could know if their student might need therapy. Other lawmakers argued the bill would expose children to dangers if their parents are abusive. The bill will now return to the Senate for another vote to reconcile the House and Senate versions.
Well, just about 6:16, we are in a code red weather alert. And Greg, you're talking about the timeline, you're tracking the radar.
That we are, and right now on radar there is a little bit of rain. This is not why we're code red, so we're waking up this morning and you have a couple of light showers that are out there right over the Nashville area, up toward Hopkinsville, down through the Portland area and Gallatin. And this has been a very weakening light shower over the last 2 hours, and it's going to be out of here by the time we get to 9 o'clock this morning. We're not code red for that. Here is the timeline. We're watching 2 rounds, watching carefully because one is going to completely dictate the other one. One overnight, midnight through 6 a.m. So tonight into tomorrow morning, a stray strong storm is possible here, especially in our northwesternmost counties. Think if we get up toward Clarksville, we get up toward Hopkinsville. Those areas could possibly see a rumble or two of thunder overnight. If we get no rain tonight, then we have to watch noon through 6 p.m. tomorrow for a strong storm or two. It's very conditional on what everything that happens before it. It's like any recipe where if you don't have every ingredient measured out perfectly, it doesn't turn out all that well. It's kind of like baking a weather cake going into later on tomorrow. So the ingredients are there for severe storms, but the thing is, it has to all set up together and be the right amount of each one of them. If we get a strong storm or two, they may end up rolling through and give us some damaging wind. We can't rule out some small size hail. We also can't rule out a possible spin-up tornado tomorrow. It's a very, very low-end threat, though. This is one of those days just we have to watch, as we've been talking about. Allergy levels. You can just see the pollen in the air sometimes, and that's how it's been the last couple of days. That's not going anywhere today. Keep that in mind. Coming up, we'll look at your 7-day forecast and look ahead to the weekend. A big cooling trend. Today, we're going to aim for 87 degrees. Right side of your screen, we're already in the mid-60s, but significantly cooler for the upcoming weekend, and we'll work through that coming up. And the next, check your code red forecast.
Circular traffic this morning. We've already picked up our first accident of the day. Let's get started here at I-40 at Broadway, just in the downtown loop here. This is on the west side of downtown. TDOT has just arrived. Tough to see it because of the overpass blocking, but they are on the scene right now dealing with that crash. We had another similar crash here yesterday, but this is at the Church Street exit. I know it says Broadway, but it's really at the Church Street exit. You can see some of those signs at the corner of them right over here. Not causing big delays. You can get off and use the exit here. Just something to watch out for. Things are starting to slow up though on I-24 at Haywood Lane. We're now over an hour coming in from Murfreesboro.
Justin, thank you. 6:18 right now. The Justice Department is planning to file an antitrust lawsuit against Live Nation and Ticketmaster. That is according to the Wall Street Journal. They're citing people who are close to the case. Live Nation is the parent company of Ticketmaster, and they've been facing issues in the last few years over dominance in the ticketing industry, plagued with problems. Critics suggest they're only able to raise ticket prices because of lack of a competition here. But Live Nation claims their prices are determined by the artist teams and the venues, plus supply and demand. Lawmakers started raising questions about the company's practices ever since the pre-sale meltdown of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour in 2022.
Well, a new bill to ban TikTok could be up for a vote in the House this week. Now, listen, it is different than the one passed last month with strong bipartisan support. There are some sources that say this time the TikTok ban is tucked into a set of 4 separate bills. So it's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, and importance in knowing the details when it comes to a lot of this legislation, because there are several items that are hidden like this. So we know this morning that this time the ban would address Democrats' foreign aid priorities, could make the ban harder for the Senate to ignore. Here's Amy Kiley reporting.
We won't be voting on the Senate supplemental.
Instead, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he hopes to pass 4 separate bills this week. 3 have aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Sources say the 4th includes a ban on TikTok.
That has some of the things with regard to the loan lease option and the Repo Act and some other sanctions on Iran and other measures that we've been talking about here for quite some time.
The Senate has yet to take up a different TikTok bill. The House passed with strong bipartisan support last month. It would ban the platform from U.S. app stores unless it spun off from its Chinese parent company. Supporters of that measure say TikTok is a national security risk.
We cannot rule out that the CCP could use it.
TikTok says about 170 million Americans use the platform. Banning it faces opposition.
You are voting against my small business. You are voting against me getting a slice of my American pie.
This is where entertainment happens. This is where the commentary and analysis of entertainment world happens. This is where education happens.
The House bills could hold some appeal for Democrats. They've been trying to pass foreign aid for months. But the White House prefers a Senate package that does not ban TikTok.
What we want to see is that bipartisan national security supplemental that passed overwhelmingly 70-29 in the Senate.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
At 6:21, do want to take a live look out there at the Nashville skyline. We are in a code red weather alert, so our code red meteorologist
Me to treat clients like family. His legacy will live on at this firm forever.
Welcome into Fox 17 News this morning. 6:23 is the time right now. We have a conditional code red to start your Tuesday. What does that mean? Well, we're waiting for things to get fully lined up, all of the right things to get an agreement for us to have the potential for severe weather. In other words, you know, the timing, the elements, the place. So we're not on a high level code red alert right now. We're just watching for the possibility of some strong to severe storms. Nothing to be worried about right now. We're going to track more in depth what we're expecting overnight. Starting around midnight is when we're going to have the possibility of getting some of those storms. And then we're going to look ahead to a weekend cooling trend. We'll join Greg in a few more minutes. He'll give us more details.
Still clear traffic at 6:24. Here's a quick look here on the west loop of things. This is going to be I-40 at Broadway. We were just dealing with the crash here at the Church Street exit. Looks like that crash cleared up very quickly because there is nothing left out there. Moving along really nicely there in the downtown area. Good to see. Here's 24 Haywood Lane. Nice to see good traffic here in this area as well. It really comes and goes. Sometimes we come to this camera and it's a standstill. Other times it looks a lot more like this. We can tell you that drive time coming in from Murfreesboro is over an hour. We're going to be watching in on some other areas of town coming up in a few.
Right now, though, at 6:25, Fox 17 News, we are keeping a very close eye on New York City this Tuesday because today does mark day 2 of former President Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial. So again, here you go, New York City. Day 1 officially ended with no jurors picked. More than half of the first group of about 200 jurors were dismissed when asked whether or not they could be impartial in this trial. Therefore, the jury selection process will start back up this morning. He does face 34 felony counts in a case that supporters call politically motivated. Of course, it also could impact the presidential race. So if you'd like to get some more updates, be sure to follow Fox 17 News on all of our social media platforms.
All right, thank you, Erica. Well, Metro Police say they are looking for the man responsible for a deadly crash. It happened last November.
All right, this is the man they're looking for, 27-year-old Nicholas Abdul Wali. They say he was driving his car 70 miles an hour on Murfreesboro Pike when he crashed into Miguel Sanchez Lara. That crash killed the 60-year-old man. Abdul Wali has not turned himself in. Police say they don't really even have a good idea as to where he is. But if you've got information that might help, you can call Crime Stoppers.
Well, Tesla is planning a big comeback or a big cutback. Maybe they're hoping for a comeback at some point, but a cutback because of a bad first quarter sales. Elon Musk sent employees a memo detailing the brand new plans for the company.
Right, so here's what it would look like. About 14,000 workers could be laid off. They employ about 140,000 people in all. Analysts say, you know, sales have been slow and they've been losing ground to other EV makers in China, which have been ramping up their manufacturing.
Well, there is a bill that would allow teachers to carry guns, and it sparked students to walk out of several metro high schools. We're going to tell you what those students had to say coming up in a few.
And Fox 17 News monitoring the developments after all of the protests that shut down big cities yesterday.
We've been breathing this.
Lots of people don't realize that mold feeds off moisture in their crawl space. But don't worry, we got this.
At AFS, we'll do a home inspection for free.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning, 6:30 right now. We've got cloud cover in the heart of Middle Tennessee as we get ready for the potential for some strong storms tonight. We have some crews working downtown. No weather issues to speak of now, but Greg will join us in a few minutes to let you know what he's tracking.
Also ahead on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning, a bill after the death of college student Juliet Ludwig would keep those found incompetent to stand trial in custody. How her parents say they want to honor her memory.
Steering clear traffic takes us to Vietnam Vets at Gallatin Pike in Sumter County. A bit of a slow go already developing. We're going to give you the latest drive times we've got coming up in a few.
All right, Justin, thanks. And thank you for joining us for Fox 17 News this morning here on your Tuesday. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. We do have the code red lights on. We are in a code red weather alert. It's not going to be for this morning, but more so, Greg, you said later tonight until Wednesday morning.
Yes, our first round of potentially 2 rounds of thunderstorms doesn't move until around midnight tonight, and it's not for everyone, but we are in code red for the heads up. It is absolutely not for today. Sunday and Monday both went well into the mid to upper 80s. We'll be right there again today, but storms will begin to move in. Now, there have been a couple of light rain showers out there that continue to die down. Every time I check the radar, things looking better and better. Everything right around the Nashville area, most of this not making it to the ground, just a little bit of ground clutter. But if you get up toward southern Kentucky and even in portions of Middle Tennessee, just east of the Gallatin area, a couple of light sprinkles that are out there. That's not our code red. Here's what's going to happen. We have 2 chances here, 2 timelines we have to watch. Midnight through 6 a.m. and then noon through 6 p.m. 2 rounds are possible, and we keep using the word conditional. What does that mean? Basically, if everything isn't perfect, we get no severe weather whatsoever. Now, that's not the same as sometimes we go code red and we know we're going to have thunderstorms that are rolling through for sure, and then just how strong do they get? This means we won't even have storms at all, but all modes of severe weather are possible if we do see a few fires. So we're going to work through both scenarios. Scenario 1, we get storms. What could that mean? Scenario 2, we just don't quite get there, and what that will also mean for us. So we're hoping for the better, but always planning ahead for what could potentially move our way. We'll take a look at that coming up in your Code Red forecast.
Steer clear traffic for you. Let's get you out and about to Vietnam Vets at Gallatin Pike on the north side. Traffic moving down from the Sumter County area. Typical slow go, no big accidents. Some light rain that just took a step outside a short time ago. There is some light rain, at least here in the Metro Center area, and I imagine some others where there is just a little bit of moisture on the ground. Could make things slick for you. If you've got those balding tires, you know who you are. It's time for a new set. And, you know, conditions like this. I-24 Waldron Road out there in Rutherford County looking okay out there this morning. No big holdups, but the drive times can be slow. 32 minutes from Hendersonville, 72 from Murfreesboro, 31 minutes, and from Franklin.
Well, a crime bill named in Juliet Ludwig's memory is now headed to Governor Bill Lee's desk.
Ludwig killed in November. Metro police say the shot was fired by a man who doctors had found incompetent to stand trial in a separate case. Fox 17 News reporter Kelly Avellino shows us what this bill means for Jillian's family and the state of Tennessee.
It's certainly a pivotal and emotional day for Juliet Ludwig's family. Jillian's Law passing both the House and the Senate in a near unanimous vote.
Jillian's family very moved at the moment this law became reality. The law closes the loophole in Tennessee that had allowed a charged violent offender deemed too mentally unstable to stand trial from getting immediately released back into society. Jillian's Law would require those felony defendants to be admitted to a mental health treatment facility. It also bars that suspect from having a weapon and also puts them on a national background check database for criminals.
I'm happy that Jillian's legacy with her name attached to this bill will help save lives.
And the struggle is not over for Jillian's family. Shaquille Taylor, charged with firing the bullet that killed Jillian, will have a competency hearing next month to see whether or not he'll face a trial for those charges. Previously, he had been evaluated as functioning on a kindergarten level. Jillian's family saying that Taylor did in fact hold a job, had an apartment, and they say he was able to get rid of the weapon used to kill Jillian.
And Jillian's parents telling me they have now started a foundation in her name called Ray of Light. Ray is Jillian's middle name. This charity to help children learn music, Jillian's passion, also to help make Jillian's law active in other states as well that might have had this same loophole. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Kelly, thank you very much. 6:35 right now, and happening today, legislators will continue taking up a bill that would allow teachers and staff in our schools to carry in the classroom if they chose to do so. Well, in protest, we have some Metro Public School students who walked out.
Right now, though, our Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker is live at the state capitol this Tuesday. And this is where students arrived yesterday carrying signs and chanting. And there were some parents and lawmakers who were out there joining them at the Capitol.
Yeah, the bill, by the way, would require a minimum of 40 hours of training and a mental evaluation. But these children say that's not enough for teachers. And they think this could create questions as to who is carrying in a school.
My teachers are expected not just to teach, but to risk their lives to protect students in a mass shooting event. They are expected to be EMTs and have gone through trainings on how to pack a bullet hole wound. Now you expect them to be armed law enforcement.
Well, in a statement to Fox 17 News, the bill sponsor, Representative Ryan Williams, said this is all voluntary and those taking part would also need a mental health evaluation. He wants that to be clear. The bill, though, is expected to go before the House tomorrow and then pass the Senate upcoming weeks.
6:36 right now, and we're taking a live look in Baltimore. This is the Francis Scott Key Bridge that came crashing into the water when a cargo ship crashed into it.
GMC, we are professional grade. Visit Darrell Waltrip BuickGMC.com.
Know about flooding in advance. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red weather app.
Good morning, Tim. Right now it's 6:38. Taking a look here at Fox 17 News Code Red weather alert for us here tonight into tomorrow. Do not worry about this morning, afternoon, or evening. This is the heads up 24 hours in advance, basically, before our next chance for storms rolling in. A couple of light rain showers have passed through the Nashville area. Now we're seeing things dying down. 67. We have not dropped temperature all that much, and we're going to get a little sunshine here later on this afternoon. Here is Future Track and the timeline of why we're in Code Red. It's not for today. A good chunk of the afternoon actually sunny and easily well into the mid to upper 80s this afternoon for the third straight day. Listen up if you're in southern Kentucky, or basically if you are Clarksville onto the north and west. You have a chance overnight. Here's 11 o'clock rolling into midnight, 1 and 2 a.m. to see a storm or two. Everything I'm looking at right now indicates this dying down as it gets toward us, and most of us see absolutely nothing overnight. If we do get a few of these showers in the morning tomorrow, though, here's 8 a.m. Little splotches of grayish green. That's going to help us stay more stable going toward the afternoon. Stable's a good thing. We all want to be stable. That means that we'll have less of a chance for storms for the afternoon. But if we don't get that morning rainfall tomorrow, noon through 6 p.m., a few thunderstorms are possible that could give us some gusty wind. We'll keep breaking that down for you if we get any updates here throughout 9 o'clock. Right side of your screen, current temps, though, are very warm, and we're going to be up to 87 later this afternoon.
Still clear traffic out there at 640. Here's a quick look here at I-24 at San Bradley Parkway. Look at that drive. Nice going there coming in from that particular part of town in Smyrna. So good morning all of you who use exit 66 out there at San Bradley Parkway. Off to a great start so far. We are going to tell you about other areas of town, but this part of the drive is doing fine. Other areas as you make your way into Antioch, not so much, because the drive time is around 72 minutes. We'll take a look at those times and drives coming up in a few.
6:41 right now. We go to Clarksville this morning, where the police department is asking for help to find a man who they think was involved in an aggravated burglary. What we have for you now is the surveillance video from March 29th, so the end of last month. This is along Potomac Court. Broad daylight, right around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, Potomac Court. You can see a man walking through here wearing blue jeans, a blue jacket, and a white mesh ball cap. The victim in this case lives right here in this area, and so you can see the guy walking behind that person's home. If you have any details, again, about what might have happened on Potomac Court, please give Clarksville Police a call.
The Cadillac Lyric EVs, those are the electric vehicles, they are now under investigation after several reports of vehicles losing their brake boost assist function. All those reports came flooding in to the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They announced that they will be launching a preliminary investigation of the 2023 Lyric models.
All right, so issues here with the hard brake pedal followed by a brake system failure. That could be catastrophic.
It's not good.
Right, so they get a message in the vehicle, they get this message that either shows up when you start the car or while you're driving. GM, interestingly enough, has not yet issued a recall for about 3,300 of these Cadillac Lyrics that are impacted.
Yeah, so it's a lot of vehicles that are out there. They have also said that they were going to update the drivers that could be having an issue here. They say that the air update and over-the-air update, which will alert drivers if the spindle fractures are going, according to the National Highway Safety Office, could be coming up there. So a lot going on with this particular vehicle. Just stand by for updates about what to do about it.
At 6:43 right now, we're getting some new information in the investigation of a deadly road rage case that happened in Murfreesboro. We'll get you updated from Rutherford County in minutes.
Plus, we are taking your input on one of our big questions. We want to hear from you. Should the United States send more financial, military aid to Israel for its war against Hamas? 60% of you say no.
Tonight at 7 on Fox 17.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning, 6:45. Operation Crime and Justice. Murfreesboro police say they need some help piecing together what led up to a deadly case of road rage, a shooting over this past weekend on South Rutherford. We've now learned the name of the man who died in that shootout.
So investigators say the shooter is 39-year-old Joseph Gann. Police say that he fired at a group of motorcyclists Saturday while driving on South Rutherford Boulevard. That's where this happened. 49-year-old Paul Howell died, and another 48-year-old man survived the gunshot injury to his arm. Police say although the alleged shooter has turned himself in, they still don't know what led up to the shooting in the first place. They're asking anyone who might have some more information about this case to go ahead and give them a call.
Emotions have been high at our state capitol over the last several weeks, but lawmakers taking part in a more lighthearted debate just yesterday over a bill that would add Memphis-style barbecue to the list of official Tennessee foods.
Okay, I have some thoughts about this, but listen, the measure passed the House and was before the full Senate yesterday afternoon. So you think food is one thing that folks can typically agree on, but not when it comes to this. The bill generated a little good-hearted conversation. Listen in.
Making Memphis barbecue the state's official state food, I think, is unfair to the folks of East Tennessee that make pretty good barbecue.
Having lived in both East Tennessee and Memphis, I'd have to say that West Tennessee barbecue is much better.
We also have the World Barbecue Fest every year, the Memphis and May Barbecue Fest. That brings thousands of people from across the world into Memphis to experience our culture around barbecue.
Yes, I would just like to know if the hot slaw would go with the Memphis barbecue.
Now listen, no shade on Memphis, but my mama made some ribs yesterday. And they were delicious.
Well, I think it comes down to whether you like the dry rub style ribs or if you like the wet ribs.
Correct.
Right, with the sauce and stuff. So in the end, the House and the Senate did come to an agreement on one bill to celebrate Memphis barbecue, and it is moving forward.
Right now, though, we are talking about national news, international news. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators shutting down portions of busy airport highways and key bridges in major U.S. cities. Big story here. Right now, though, we're taking a live look over in New York City. The protests began on Wall Street, right outside of the New York Stock Exchange, and that's where a group of pro-Israeli demonstrators, they got there, they gathered, they really chanted, the two sides arguing at each other before police ultimately stepped in.
Now, the pro-Palestine demonstrators then took it to the Manhattan-bound side of the Brooklyn Bridge, shutting down the Brooklyn Bridge. Folks, if you've never been to New York, you may not be able to fully comprehend the impact there. Police able to corral the protesters onto a pedestrian walkway after hours. They did arrest several people. Protesters supporting Palestine also shut down the Golden Gate Bridge yesterday. We mentioned the Brooklyn Bridge in New York.
Portions of Chicago.
The Port of Miami, Seattle, San Antonio. Relatively speaking, a bit of a mess in our major cities. No indication that we're going to see anything like that again today, but we'll be monitoring those developments for you live through 9.
We're also keeping a very close eye on the radar. We are in a code red weather alert, so we're tracking the timeline, how it could impact folks later today, maybe work overnight.
Yeah, overnight tonight and then into tomorrow is why we're code red. So today is okay. It's that heads up day. And I'm also monitoring what's going on at BNA because we have so many things across the country right now. Honestly, looking pretty good. Our forecast has gotten a couple light rain showers out of here. Temperatures this morning starting off in the 60s, 81 degrees at noon, 86 degrees at 3 p.m. Watching for cancellations, flight delays, only 9 flight delays, so fairly typical this time of the morning, this time of the week. So nothing abnormal happening at Nashville International Airport so far this morning. 67 degrees, a little bit of a breeze out of the south. And here is the rain that has been exiting the area throughout this morning. Nothing to worry about right now. Midnight through 6 p.m., Clarksville toward the north and the west. The chance for a few storms that could give us some gusty wind. And then tomorrow, a second round. Here's the catch. If we get a couple rain showers tomorrow morning, which is a good possibility, then all of this down here, the noon through 6 p.m., likely is not going to happen. Strong storms just won't have a chance to fire. A little rain will still be out there for us and maybe a storm or two, but morning rain is going to be our friend tomorrow if we can get a little bit of it. If not, then we have to worry about the possibility of a few storms for the afternoon hours. So today, it's not your code red day. Yesterday was 86 degrees, 1 degree shy of tying a temperature record. 2 days ago, we were 2 degrees shy of breaking a temperature record, and today we'll go for upper 80s once again across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A fast-moving storm packing winds and hail slammed the Washington, D.C. area Monday. These mammatus clouds were spotted over the city during nearby severe weather. And check out this hail shaft. It was visible in northern Virginia near Washington National Airport. The weather got so bad for a bit, ground stops were issued there and at Dulles International.
Listen to Off the Radar. New episodes every Tuesday.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. We are dealing with a bit of a slowdown because of a disabled tractor trailer here on the shoulder of the road, waiting for authorities to arrive to this one. TDOT's not there. Metro Police are not there. And when they do, they're going to force all the traffic to move over a little bit. So this could cause a bit of a slowdown. Even further slowdown, I should say, coming in because things are already slow. How slow? Well, let's take a look. Hendersonville, 36 minutes. Murfreesboro to downtown Nashville in 1 hour and 20 minutes. That means if you left Murfreesboro right now trying to go to downtown Nashville, you would get there around 8:12 this morning.
Well, we go offering free fair and museum admission this weekend. We're going to tell you how it's honoring an iconic Nashville civil rights activist.
The Sounds are starting a homestand tonight, so they're back in action. You can
rest knowing you're paying the lowest price in town for your repairs.
Your words soothe like the summer breeze.
Visit budgetbreaks.com for locations and coupons.
6 4 is the time, and right now Fox 17 News following international headlines this Tuesday. Israeli Defense Forces saying they will conduct military exercises today. So we are going to show you a live look. This is over in Jerusalem. A lot of updates to get to here, but do understand the military exercise, leaders say, comes as regional tensions escalated over the weekend after Iran attacked Israel over a suspected Israeli strike on an Iranian diplomatic building. Military exercises, a lively movement of aircrafts, vehicles, and many security forces, that's what leaders say, are going to be in the area this morning. That was the message that was shared by the IDF on social media. The IDF also saying that the exercises are part of planned exercises of the Israeli military's annual training plan for the 2024, part of their just preparedness. They always do this around this time of the year. That's according to IDF leaders. So we're going to keep taking those live looks and, of course, keep updating this big international story.
And here we are at 6:55. We're in a code red weather alert for tonight into tomorrow. Nothing to worry about this evening, so maybe you're looking to find something to do here to enjoy some 80-degree weather. Nashville Sounds are back in town. 6:35 is the first pitch. Temperature right around 83 degrees. 8 p.m. 77 and 74 degrees at 10 o'clock. Clouds picking up here throughout the overnight hours. And then after midnight, the possibility of a shower or two that could move into the Nashville area. The best chance for some storms going to be Clarksville onto the north and west. Most of us get no rain overnight tonight, but look at that. I just said 83 degrees at 6 o'clock tonight, but look at the high temperatures for Saturday and Sunday. 60s. 68 degrees on Saturday. There will be a few storms that are possible on Saturday itself. And then going into Sunday will be cooler, considerably cooler at 62. Nighttime temperatures falling back into the 40s. But right side of your screen right now, we have temperatures that are easily in the mid to upper 60s across the board. You can always scan the QR code right here. Get the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. It'll help you out. It gives you those alerts overnight. So if we ever do get strong storms and you're trying to sleep, you can rest easy that way. The phone will go off. It'll give you alerts only to your county, kind of like your smoke detector at night. You can rest easier knowing you've got a way to get an alert.
Greg, I just appreciate the heads up now so that we know how to handle the dogs later.
Yes.
With the storm anxiety. All right, let's check in on steer clear traffic right now. Things overall looking pretty good in your morning commute. We do have this happening. I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. We've got a tractor trailer and an SUV off to the right shoulder. This is inbound to Nashville. I mean, you can see a slowdown. I'm not sure that it's worth a detour. If you wanted to, you could take Old Nashville Highway to come in. You could take, which ends up being Murfreesboro Pike, you know, they kind of merge together, but you could do that. I don't know, this might be the kind of a situation where it might not hurt you to stay on the interstate because this is not too major. But we'll keep an eye on this and the rest of your steer clear traffic and get you updated again in just a few minutes.
And talking about driving, WeGo Public Transit is going to offer free fare to all riders on April 20th to encourage participation in events honoring Nashville civil rights activist Diane Nash. This does include a parade to the Metro Nashville Courthouse, and then they're going to have a dedication ceremony for Diane Nash in the Plaza area.
The Nashville MTA board recently voted to recognize the Diane Nash celebration with a free fare. As a Fisk University student, Nash led nonviolent protest and lunch counter sit-ins here in Nashville. WeGo is partnering with some local museums for discounts on April 20th as well. The Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum and the Frist Art Museum, they're also going to all have free admission for anyone who shows a quick ticket card. Okay, so you have to have taken the bus to get there
Yes.
in order to get free admission. All right.
Let's talk about baseball.
Let's do it. The Nashville Sounds facing the Omaha Storm Chasers starting tonight. We've got a homestand that kicks off at 6:35. The Storm Chasers affiliated with the Royals. I mentioned the homestand starts at 6:35. Weather should not be an issue. It's going to continue through Sunday night. Also, this is kind of fun. The Nashville Sounds will become the Nashville Brewskis with the alternate uniforms inspired by their home team, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Okay, we have an important update here. A brand of gluten-free mini bagels are being recalled because they may contain gluten. Well. Yeah, so go ahead and take a look at your screen. Feel Good Foods has issued the nationwide voluntary recall alert due to cross-contamination. So take a look to see what we're talking about. The company receiving one consumer report of an adverse reaction to gluten. The impacted products include gluten-free plain and everything flavored cream cheese stuffed mini bagels. Showing you again a look here. If you want to read more about this recall alert, go to fox17.com.
And while you're there, you can check out what's trending. It's a whole section over on the website. Here's a top trending story right now. The Nashville Fire Department rescues kittens trapped in somebody's car, like under the hood, up near the engine. So really sweet story there. If you want to check it out, head to fox17.com and stick with us. Starting right now, we become your only live local news source through 9 a.m.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
We are waking up warm with a couple of rain showers that are out there on the radar. We're code red for tonight into tomorrow. The timeline coming up in your forecast.
Steer clear traffic shows us over at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. Bit of a stall in that area. We're going to tell you the best ways to steer clear.
Textbooks that are outdated belong in our schools, not guns.
Well, an explosive Monday in Music City as lawmakers, parents, and even students walked out of their schools in protest of current legislation on the table in Nashville. We'll take a look at the bill that is sparking controversy in the state.
A lot to get to, but first, want to say thank you for joining us here on a Tuesday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m.
We're going to get started now with our Code Red weather alert. A lot of folks who are waking up with us are saying, wait, I thought it's supposed to be nice outside this Tuesday.
It is.
Okay. What's the timeline then?
This is the heads up. This is for tonight into tomorrow. Don't cancel a single plan you've got for today. Everything looks great. Warm again, just like the last couple of days, well into the 80s. This is an overnight into tomorrow setup. But we want to give you the heads up here, because if you don't know it now, when you go to bed tonight, that would catch you off guard real quick. Taking a look, there are a few showers that are out there. Schmecker will Greg, it's raining. Not code red rain. This will be out of here soon. Most of our morning into the afternoon will be completely dry. I will say the afternoon will be completely dry, but from about 9 o'clock on, the rain does die down for us. Here's the setup, and here's why we're code red. The timing is always everything, and we've got 2 6-hour windows where there could be some strong storms. The first one is midnight to 6 a.m. This is not for everyone. Most of us won't see anything happen tonight. But if you are Clarksville on north and west into southern Kentucky, a weakening line of storms will move in, and they could give us the possibility of some damaging wind. What in the world does conditional threat mean? Isn't everything conditional? Yes. What it means is midnight to 6 a.m. will be a big player in that second time frame from noon to 6 p.m. tomorrow. If we get rain during that time frame, or even a few light rain showers tomorrow morning, we're not going to have as big of a chance for stronger storms late in the day tomorrow. That's what I mean by conditional. If one thing doesn't happen, the other will not. Taking a look, though, if we do have a few storms that end up having the ability to fire tomorrow, we cannot rule out a spin-up tornado, but that is a very, very low threat. Damaging wind and some small-size hail cannot be ruled out with any afternoon storms we have, again, noon through 6 p.m. Take a look at temperatures. Today, fantastic day. 87 degrees. Yesterday was 86. We hit 87 on Sunday. So no real change day today. It is tonight into tomorrow when we'll get a little bit cooler as a weak cold front moves in. And then by the weekend, another cold front moves in Friday into Saturday that will put us from 87 today to 62 degrees for a high temperature on Sunday. So considerably cooler for the upcoming weekend.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out and about to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway in the Antioch area. You can see there traffic moving along despite the fact we've got a bit of a slowdown with a tractor trailer on the shoulder of the road. So heads up in that area. You can get by. Authorities have not arrived on the scene yet. This is not what's causing all the standstill that you see over here. This is just congestion as it continues to push its way in from Antioch. This is north of town, 65 at Trinity Lane. Looks like this typically every day around this time. So let's take a look at those drive times. 42 minutes in right now from Hendersonville. Nearly 80 minutes coming in from Murfreesboro. 40 minutes coming in from Mount Juliet. Keep in mind the cloud cover and the rainy conditions can also cost you an extra few minutes.
Those are children who are students in Metro Nashville public schools who walked out of classes to protest a bill that would allow Tennessee teachers to be armed at school. It would be voluntary. The House is set to take up that bill this week, and we're following that for you. The state Senate has already signed off. This morning, we're hearing from both sides of the debate. While some argue that this is necessary and they believe arming teachers could be part of the solution to stopping another school shooter. Others worry about the gun ending up in the wrong hands and say lawmakers should put their focus somewhere else.
And true leaders don't just sit on the sidelines, they get out while arming teachers instead of addressing gun violence.
All right, hearing from a young person there. Erica, this is certainly a discussion that a lot of people have been going back and forth on for a long time as we look to try to find solutions.
Yeah, that's right, Jen. And to get another perspective, we also spoke with retired Metro Police Officer Ken Alexandro. Now, he trains staff at private schools and churches across the country. He also says, yeah, he's for arming teachers in schools, but does have some stipulations.
Could it be a great thing? It could be a great thing. Could it be a catastrophic disaster? Absolutely. Depends on who you get trained by.
Well, he says because of his team's rigorous training and psychological testing, his teachers have not had any issues.
Now, as for Governor Lee, he has been passionate about improving safety ever since the deadly shooting at the Covenant School in Green Hills last March. Fox 17 News asked the governor if he feels like this bill is enough.
I've said that I'm open to that idea. It's very important what the details of that legislation would look like. It has passed one chamber, not the other. That means there's likely to be changes to it if it passes at all.
All right, so there's the governor's response. Covenant parents have also been talking about it. Still to come on Fox 17 News this morning, Peyton Muse is going to take a deeper dive into the latest developments involving the Covenant School parents and the shooter's writings, because we've got that unfolding today in court as well.
Right now in Operation Crime and Justice, there is a call for action after a Tennessee State University football player was hit and killed over the weekend. Now Metro police officers are asking anyone who saw something to say something. Now this all happened early Sunday morning on Gallatin Pike near Marion Avenue. Police say a small SUV or a red car hit Chazon Page, that's his name, at a high rate of speed and then took off. He's a Nashville native who played at Tennessee State University for 4 seasons.
Because this is the step that I took. This is the bill that I filed. This is the family that I'm fighting for.
You're acting like you're the only one who cares in here. Do something.
Passions on full display on both sides just before the vote to honor a Belmont student who was killed by a stray bullet. We're going to tell you why lawmakers were fighting before they actually voted for this bill. And
Metro Police have now identified this 18-year-old who they say is the third and final suspect in the deadly shooting of a security guard.
In Fox 17 News, we are in a code red weather alert for later tonight into Wednesday. Quick reminder here, you can always keep
their crawl space. But don't worry, we got this.
At AFS, we'll do a home inspection for free.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
7:10 is the time on this Tuesday morning. Jillian's Law passed the House of Representatives 92-0 at the Tennessee State House. No one voted against it. The law would bar felons with a mental health history from getting a gun. It would also put them on a national criminal database. But before it passed, some members of the House say that this bill did not go far enough to protect people from gun violence, and it led to moments like this.
This is a good bill. Again, I applaud you for it, but we can do more. We're better than this.
It'd be nice if just once on this floor, I brought a bill that was a good step forward, and some of my members in this, some of my colleagues in this body just stood up and said, you know what, let's take a good step together and show folks in Tennessee how we can join together and actually make this state safer. If we did that more often, maybe we would get more done on this issue instead of just pontificate about it.
You're acting like you're the only one who cares in here. Do something. Do something other than just, no, he's not cutting my mic off because you don't like what I'm saying, because it's a truth.
And it's unimaginable, really, the grief and the pain that you've experienced. This bill is being named in your daughter's honor because, like you, we want to be able to extend her legacy.
Now, everyone you just saw there voted for this bill, despite their deep disagreement about it. It did pass the Senate as well, and we'll move on to the governor's desk. In Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police have named an 18-year-old named Tyler Phan as the third and final suspect in a deadly shooting of a security guard that happened last month. You may remember this story as police say that Phan is one of 3 men who broke into some cars outside the Illusions Bar and Lounge. That's when a security guard named Maurice Thomas Jr. went to check in on that noise in the parking lot. Police say he was shot by these men several times. He died at the scene. At least one of those teens is now facing criminal homicide and 3 counts of vehicle burglary. We have more on the other arrests police have already made on our website at fox17.com.
And we're waking up on a code red weather alert for tonight into tomorrow. A few light rain showers on the radar this morning. We'll track those. Do not worry about these. We will work you through the timeline of potential severe weather in your forecast.
Plus, we're taking a look at your steer clear traffic. This one's at 24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Looks like things may be trying to move out there a little bit. We're going to show you the problems that they're facing here and
more with double fuel points and free delivery. Discover more ways to save big every day. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome back. Right now we're talking about the Nashville Sounds, and we're also showing you a live book of where they play. Hey, it's going to be someone I know over there throwing the first pitch on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll be out there. Hopefully the weather will hold up. You know, every time we take this live look, I think, gosh, it has changed so much over by First Horizon Ballpark in the last few years. All the apartments and restaurants and condos and shopping. And yeah, going to be a fun time, though. We're going to be playing the Storm Chasers from Omaha in this new homestand that kicks off tonight.
Well, hopefully the weather cooperates. We are going to check in now with our Code Red meteorologist because we don't want any issues. You got the baseball. Don't be tossing it. We did it once.
We did it once. We're not doing it again.
I have a hot coffee right here also, just off the coffee machine. I mean, it just came out of the machine.
Every baseball being thrown tonight's going to be fine. We have no other problems here. But, you know, we are in Code Red for tonight into tomorrow. This is the heads up Code Red, the day before the event. So here is the forecast for this evening. Everything looks real nice. 83 degrees right around first pitch. A few clouds building throughout the game. 77 degrees at 8 o'clock, 74 at 10. Not a drop of rain to worry about during the entire time the Sounds take the field. That's good news for us. But here is where we've come from and where we're going. Our second straight day yesterday of almost hitting a record temperature. This was yesterday. 86 degrees was the high. The record was 87. We missed it by 1 degree. Today we'll be up near 87 degrees once again this afternoon. And the allergies are through the roof in every single way, shape, and form. Every allergen except for weeds are really high, if not severe. Keep that in mind if your allergies were tough yesterday, if they were rough on Saturday and Sunday. Very similar setup today. So what is the story? Well, our chance for severe weather tonight and tomorrow depend on a lot of little things all falling together perfectly in a row. We'll look at those for you on Future Track coming up in a few. Just note that our severe weather risk is not that high. It's just a possibility. So we're watching for any storms that could possibly get a little bit stronger during those 2 time frames. Midnight tonight through 6 a.m. tomorrow, and then noon through 6 p.m. tomorrow. Weekend cooling, much cooler for the upcoming weekend. So here is Future Track. Let's do that timeline for you. Here's through 5 p.m. Not much. You'll get some sunshine, and then the clouds really pick up here going into the evening. Clarksville on north and west. Been saying it all morning, and nothing has changed. You have the best chance for a few weakening storms to move in after the midnight hour. Most of us see nothing. This is what I want to happen, though. I stopped this at 4 o'clock in the morning, where there's not much here on radar. Between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m., I want the cloud cover to stick around, and we want these pop-up showers to develop. They're not a guarantee, but if they do, then it means the afternoon hours, not much will happen for us here, and our severe threat goes down close to 0. So the less activity we have overnight, the worse, but the more we have in the morning, the much better it will be for later in the day. Coming up in the next Check Your Forecast, we'll work you into a significantly cooler weekend, but right now, you're starting off in the 60s on the way to 87 this afternoon.
Steer clear traffic at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. That's where we have been watching. This is disabled tractor trailer making your drive in there this morning from the Antioch area. You can see where authorities are continuing just to kind of hang out there, waiting on some help, hopefully, to get them out of that situation. Just watch out for them. I've seen a couple people jump out onto the lane here to try to get around to other sections of the truck. So please give them some room to operate if you can out there at I-24 in Hickory Hollow. Yellow and Antioch. Slow go developing in from 65 at Boers Lane. No reports of any types of accidents here. This is just congestion as you get out there on the roads, and it is slowing things up. So let's take a look at the drive times. None of them are great. 50 minutes coming in from Hendersonville, 84 minutes, an hour and 24 minutes coming in from Murfreesboro, 44 minutes coming in from Franklin this morning. Everything's slow. The wet conditions have something to do with it.
Well, Covenant families we are hearing from are urging the House to not pass a bill to allow teachers, principals, and members of the staff to carry guns on school grounds.
Now, the Senate did pass the bill. It has not passed the House, and there are several lawmakers and other community members who say this is a needed step. Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse joining us live this morning at the Capitol with both sides of the debate.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. So this bill passed in all committees last year, but it was put on hold in the House. And at some point, sometime this week, we're expected to hear this bill. Now, parents of the Covenant School survivors say teachers need to focus on their students.
Parents of Covenant School survivors say teachers need to be in the classroom, not taking down a mass shooter.
Had my daughter's teacher left the classroom to pursue the shooter, a classroom of 9-year-olds would have been left to protect themselves. It's not only irresponsible, but also ludicrous.
Another Covenant School parent read a letter from a teacher who survived the mass shooting on March 27th, 2023, recounting what they went through that day. The teacher says they secured their classrooms as fast as possible, turned the lights off, and lowered the blinds.
We hid in a closet that was not large enough for 13, but we held those babies in our arms, on our legs, and even sat one child on a cabinet. As we heard shots firing over and over and over for what seemed like an eternity, we worked to comfort the frightened children.
Those for the bill say it gave an extra layer of protection.
I'm not going to say I'm happy at all that we even have to have a bill like this, so I wouldn't go to happy immediately. But do I feel that some of the kids might be safer, some of the students and some of the teachers could feel a little bit more empowered that if something did happen?
The bill's sponsor says in part, the legislation creates a carefully vetted voluntary program and the staff undergoes extensive crisis management and safety training along with a mental health evaluation.
For the full statement, head over to our website at fox17.com and stick with us both on air and online as we wait and see when this bill will be pulled off the desk and be presented on the floor. Reporting live at the Capitol, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your code station.
Peyton, thank you very much. A bill would require public school employees to tell parents if their child is transgender, whether they're using a different name or perhaps different pronouns. And the state House passed that bill just yesterday.
So we're getting some more details for you. The bill is sponsored by Republican Representative Mary Littleton. She said parents have the right to know what's happening in schools. Littleton also said legislation was needed so parents could know if their student would need some therapy.
Other lawmakers argued the bill would expose children to dangers if their parents are abusive. It now is going to return to the Senate for another vote to try to reconcile the two different versions of this legislation. We'll keep you posted on what happens next.
Just ahead here this morning, TriStar Health is looking to bring a full-service hospital to the growing city of Spring Hill. We're hearing from folks in that area.
And Greg just mentioned we are in a code red for the potential for some strong
Tucson. Lease at Tucson for $209 a month or get 3.79% APR for 72 months or $2,000 bonus cash. Hurry in.
$7:25 is the time. A group of investors has now dropped its attempt to revive the bankrupt trucking company Yellow. Now, they are the Nashville-based trucking company that folded up operations and filed for bankruptcy last July.
Yeah, big story when it all happened because it had international implications right here out of Nashville. Fox 17 News reporting on the story as the shutdown left tens of thousands of workers without jobs. Now, Yellow was more than $3 billion in debt and reportedly owed billions more to pension funds.
Now, the failed bid to bring back Yellow was led by an auto carrier company, Jack Cooper Transport, which could not stop the company from auctioning off its facilities and equipment to try and cover those debts.
Oh, they tried.
they did try.
All right, 7:25 right now. Let's check in with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus, highlighting what we're expecting today and then how things will change in the overnight.
Yes, today's a very nice day, 87 degrees, our third day in a row at or above 85. And we're going to stop that trend going into tomorrow. Today, very breezy at times, just like it has been the past couple of days. Allergies not going to be great for us. Warm across the board. We almost broke records the last 2 days. We were really close, didn't quite get there. Know when to mow. You can do it today, one last day, but then a few showers and storms will trickle in for Wednesday and Thursday. Not everyone's guaranteed to get rain, but those of us who do could see some thunderstorms. And of those storms, a few of them could be on the stronger side. Here are your 2 time frames, midnight tonight through 6 a.m. and then noon tomorrow through 6 p.m., meaning just get the lawn mowed right now when you know it's going to be okay today. Take a look at your weekend. Big changes ahead. We just mentioned today's going to be 87. Well, Saturday, only 68 degrees, and then 62 on Sunday. So a big cooling trend takes us into the upcoming weekend, and of the 2 days, Saturday now has a chance to see a few thunderstorms and drying out going into Sunday.
Steer clear traffic out there. Things are just very, very slow all around town. This is going to be I-40 at Central Pike coming in from Hermitage. Out there, no major crashes, just people slowing down at the merge point. Look at these drive times. None of them are good. 53 minutes from Hendersonville, 82 minutes from Murfreesboro, 55, nearly an hour coming in from Mount Juliet this morning.
Right now, Fox 17 News, we are keeping a very close eye on New York City this Tuesday. That's because today is going to mark day 2 of former President Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial. Okay, here is a live look outside of a barricaded Trump Tower. Day 1 officially ended on Monday with no jurors picked. More than half of the first group of about 200 jurors were dismissed when asked whether they could be impartial in this trial. So yes, the jury selection is going to pick back up this morning. Now, the former president is facing 34 felony counts in a case that supporters call politically motivated. And we all also asking how this could possibly impact the presidential race. Big question there. If you'd like to follow more updates, you can do so by going to fox17.com, and I'll be showing some more updates throughout this Tuesday morning.
At 7:28 right now, a live look from the heart of downtown Nashville. The Preds, by the way, we see Bridgestone Arena right there. Preds went on the road last night to Pittsburgh and lost. So that's kind of impacting the...
Force Roofing Systems, providing protection against the storm, today and every day.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
7:30 is the time. Fox 17 News this Tuesday. We are in a code red weather alert, but do not worry. We're going to track that timeline, lay it all out for you in your full forecast.
I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. You can see traffic getting by despite the fact of a disabled tractor trailer. We've got the best ways to steer clear.
Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. I know we are in the heart of the spring sport season. All right, whatever your kiddos are doing outside, we know that the weather plays a big role in that. So let's get a check in our Code Red forecast with Greg Bobus to find out whether today's after-school activities will be impacted or maybe tomorrow morning.
Today's going to be A-OK from start to finish. A couple of light rain showers are tracking their way away from us, and then the rest of the day, afternoon and evening, perfect. We'll be in the 80s again. We'll have a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of a breeze. Not much of a change. We're code red, though. All the red lights are on because of tonight into tomorrow. No guarantee that we see severe weather because a lot of things have to happen in order to get a few storms to fire. But here are the 2 rounds that we're watching. Midnight tonight into 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. If you don't get rain then, we're hoping we can bring in a shower or 2 during the morning hours of tomorrow. Not storms, but between 6 o'clock and 9 a.m. If we get that rainfall, then the secondary timeline here of noon to 6 p.m. is much less likely to happen. So when you're waking up tomorrow morning, if you see some sunshine and you don't have rain, watch out for a few storms during the afternoon. That's the bottom line for us here. This is the conditional baking a cake forecast. What I mean by that is you got to have every little ingredient perfectly fine-tuned to make it work. There are some times where we go, we're going to get storms no matter what. Then it's just how strong do they get? We don't even get the storms if we don't have everything that lines up for us. So just keep that in mind. This is just a precautionary code red, so no one's caught off guard. This has been a problem since Saturday. The allergy outlook is not good again today. Trees, grass, mold, they're all high, if not severe, in our categories. That's where they were at the last couple of days. If you've been suffering, today will unfortunately be another one of those. We talk about our baking a cake weather scenario. That's where we're going to be here. We'll watch for those severe storms. I've got a brand new look at future track cooking up for you here that we'll take a look at when it comes to overnight tonight and tomorrow. Just know the rain's not for everyone, but a cooler weekend is. I'm not going to hide it from you. Here you go, your 7-day forecast. 87 degrees today. Starting off right now in the 60s, but by the weekend, a few more rounds of storms move in Friday and Saturday. We dip our high temperatures back into the 60s both days.
Steer clear traffic for you on this Tuesday morning. Let's get you out to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. As you make that drive in, we've got this tractor trailer sitting here on the shoulder. There was another vehicle sitting here in front of it. It has since moved on. Now this tractor trailer is here by itself, and look, it's trying to move. Is it going to make the move? Give it some room, y'all. You see the blinker on, right? Trying to give it some room out there. It's going to try to clear here, so there'll be no more issues out there on I-24. There we go. Nice job by the red Camry back there trying to move over there. All right, so that situation has cleared up now on 24 Hickory Hollow. Very good news as you try to make your way in from Antioch, Smyrna, and Laverne. We're going to check in some other areas of town and update the drive times now that this is out of the way. Coming up in a few.
Taking a look this morning, speaking of traffic, at some of your pictures coming in of that crash yesterday that shut down I-65 in Brentwood. Take a look at this. I mean, what a burned out mess of a crash here. Again, this was on I-65 in the northbound lanes yesterday, shutting down lanes. Two 18-wheelers and a tar truck crashed, leaving that huge, hot, fiery mess all over the interstate. The crash at mile marker 75, as I mentioned, just outside of Brentwood there. All cleared up this morning. No issues as a result of this on your morning commute.
In Operation Crime and Justice, Murfreesboro police say they still need help piecing together what led to a deadly road rage shooting that happened over the weekend. So we're getting some more details. We do know investigators say the shooter is 39-year-old Joseph Gann. Here's a photo. Police say he fired at a group of motorcyclists Saturday while driving on South Rutherford Boulevard.
49-year-old Paul Howell died and another 48-year-old man survived a gunshot. Police say although the alleged shooter has turned himself in, they still don't know what led up to the shooting. So that investigation continues this morning. A big fire breaks out at one of the oldest buildings that exists in Copenhagen, Denmark. Happening early this morning. I know this is an international headline here for you, but just wanted to bring it to you because the video is rather impressive. The 17th century building home to the stock exchange there. So just an update here for you as we continue to keep an eye on how that, how that could have bigger impacts. 7:36 is the time right now. Just into the Fox 17 newsroom. We are also keeping an eye on the aftermath of a fire in Spring Hill. So right here at home, we've received pictures from the fire that broke out yesterday afternoon around 3 o'clock at General Motors due to a transformer overheating. No injuries reported. The fire crews being credited for their quick response.
7:36 is the time, and right now, Fox 17 News, we're taking a look over on our Facebook page at a story that has gained a lot of local and also national attention. Some of you might remember a story of a Meigs County deputy, Robert Leonard, who was initially reported missing. But after investigation and search crews, they were able to track down the deputy's car from the Tennessee River. Right now, though, the husband of a Meigs County woman who drowned while being handcuffed in the back of a sheriff deputy's patrol car is claiming a big issue inside of a federal lawsuit. He's claiming the county did not put proper warning signs on the road leading into the water. Well, if you want to read more about this particular lawsuit in our past coverage of this story, go to our Fox 17 News Facebook page and visit fox17.com.
Gaining statewide attention after giving his life in the line of duty. The honor at our state capitol in Nashville for the police officer killed in a shootout.
And Fox 17 News, your only local station with traffic and weather updates live from 4 all the way up until...
Kind of never paying us a fee unless we get money for you. Get Hughes & Coleman and get it done.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by the Rocky McElhaney Law Firm.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now is 7:40. The Nashville community paying its respects to a fallen Memphis police officer.
Now, the full state Senate stood in honor of that police officer, Joseph McKinney, who was shot to death in the line of duty. It happened late last week. After a moment of silence there on the Senate floor, Senator Ben Taylor, who represents that part of Memphis where the officer died, offered a prayer for the McKinney family. Listen in.
He was a brave and dedicated police officer who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty just 3 nights ago. We pray, Lord, for comfort and strength for his wife and daughter, and we ask for comfort and strength for his friends and colleagues on the Memphis Police Department during this very difficult and trying time.
Officer McKinney had joined the Memphis Police Department in 2020. He died in a shootout with 2 teenagers near an elementary school. One of those teenage suspects also died. Officer McKinney, just 26 years old.
Let's talk about your code red weather alert this morning. It's not for the rain that you may see outside your window right now. It is because of the storms that could be pushing in a little bit later this evening and into tonight, sort of after school.
Yeah. The good news here, Greg mentioned just a moment ago, no impact to your after school sports today. So looking good, 84 warm degrees at 5 o'clock. We got a baseball game right about that time, so it's going to be another warm one out there. 79 by 7, 75 by 9 o'clock tonight. And then right around midnight is when Greg is tracking those storms as they start to push into our northwestern counties. He'll join us again in just a few minutes to give us some more in-depth forecast.
Meanwhile, Fox 17 News always keeping you up to speed on international headlines. Just this morning, the Israeli Defense Forces, they announced, yes, they're conducting military exercises set to happen today. Now, keep in mind this comes after tensions escalated over the weekend when Iran attacked Israel. This all leads to our question shared right here on our Fox Nashville X account. Take a look. Should the U.S. send more financial and military aid to Israel for its war against Hamas? As of right now, let me see. As of right now, I want to zoom in. 60% of you all say no. There's still plenty of time for you to go ahead and sound off by heading to our Fox Nashville X account.
Well, 723, keeping an eye on steer clear traffic. This is 65 at Dickerson Pike north of town. It's a slow go, and it's a slow go just about everywhere. We'll give you an update.
Come to fruition.
We are professional grade. Visit Darrell Waltrip BuickGMC.com.
Be prepared for the next storm. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red Weather app.
Good morning. Time right now is 7:45. We're waking up here in a code red weather alert for tonight into tomorrow, not for today. Today, a couple light rain showers moving up, but some storms move in for a few of us tonight and a few of us tomorrow. This is not a widespread event for everyone, but a few hit and miss storms cannot be ruled out. Current radar, most of our rainfall has moved away from us here. A few showers still right along the state line moving into southern Kentucky, but most of us even seeing a few flashes of sunshine trying to come through the clouds. Here is our code red alert. We have 2 time frames to watch out for, and they're both about 6-hour windows worth of opportunity. One is tonight, midnight through 6 a.m., and then another is noon tomorrow through 6 p.m. Now, what does a conditional threat mean? That means that if every little piece of the puzzle comes together perfectly, we could see 1 or 2 stronger storms tonight and 1 or 2 the second half of tomorrow. All types of severe weather can't be ruled out, but we have to even get to that point where we're rolling through some thunderstorms to even talk about it. So they're all very low. Tornado threat is almost 0. Wind could get some wind gusts here that could be a little on the stronger side, and some small size hail cannot be ruled out. But again, midnight tonight through 6 a.m. and then taking our way into noon through 6 p.m. tomorrow. Everyone going to feel this, even if you don't get the rain. Allergy levels are sky high here when it comes to trees, grass, mold. Just like yesterday and just like this past weekend, things are a little hard to navigate here when it comes to it, but no additional rain today. By late morning, we're going to dry up. 87 degrees this afternoon. Yesterday was 86, almost broke a record. We were at 87 on Sunday, almost broke a record. You get what I'm saying here, very similar to the past few days. Your Wednesday and Thursday, a touch cooler in the lower 80s, and then significantly cooler on Saturday into Sunday, only in the 60s for high temperatures both days.
Steer clear traffic for you here on this Tuesday morning. Let's get you out to I-24 and I-840. This is out in Rutherford County. We're receiving word that this is a stalled vehicle out here, a stalled vehicle. Also taking a look at this law enforcement car. I haven't seen one like this. THP, if this is you, I haven't seen one like this before. Or it could be Rutherford County authorities or the sheriff's office out there. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's not a real car. I'm just saying I haven't seen that particular model of a THP car. So just heads up out there in that area. Okay, here's a look at I-40 at Spence Lane as you make that drive into town. From the east side here, we've got a crash on the shoulder. Metro Police on the scene there dealing with that. It is off the interstate. This is the interstate over here. This is the exit on this side for Hermitage Avenue. You can see even the 18-wheelers being pushed over to deal with that. You can try to take Elm Hill Pike or Lebanon Pike is the best way to steer clear of anything happening there on the east side.
Justin, thank you. 7:48 is the time right now, and new this morning, we're getting updates on Jillian's Law. Jillian Ludwig, the young lady you see here behind us who tragically lost her life here in Nashville. A bill to stop people who are deemed too mentally incompetent to stand trial from quickly going back into society, now heading to the governor's desk, because that is how police say Jillian died, at the hands of a man who should have never been on the streets.
Fox 17 News' investigative reporter Kelly Avellino was at the Capitol and has much more on what the law means, and a new effort began and started by her family. Good morning, Kelly.
That's right, guys. It was certainly an emotional day for Jillian Ludwig's parents and two brothers as a bill for change in her name passed nearly unanimously. The Belmont University freshman we know was gunned down by a violent suspect who had been released after a judge ruled he wasn't mentally fit to stand trial, but not unstable enough to be committed. That man then firing the stray bullet that police say killed Jillian last fall. Jillian's family holding hands and a picture of their daughter as they watched her law pass while sitting in the gallery there. Jillian's Law closes this loophole that had allowed a felony offender deemed, again, too mentally ill to be tried from getting immediately released back into society, back on the streets. Now they must be admitted, if they cannot face trial, to a mental health treatment facility. If this law also bars that person from having a gun and puts them on a national background check database for criminals.
An emotional day today for sure to see it come to fruition, and the pace that it went through the legislature. It's really a testament to the quality of the law and a testament to Jillian.
Now, Shaquille Taylor, the suspect charged with firing the bullet that killed Jillian, will have a competency hearing next month to determine whether he will stand trial for murder. Previously, he had been evaluated as functioning on a kindergarten level. Jillian's family believing Taylor is competent enough to face the justice system, noting that he had a job, an apartment, and was able to get rid of the weapon, they say, at the time. Now, Jillian's parents also revealed yesterday that they have started a foundation in Jillian's name called Ray of Light. Ray is Jillian's middle name. The charity follows Jillian's passion in music and helping children learn to play as well. And her parents tell me they will also continue to advocate for other states that have similar loopholes to adopt a Jillian's Law. Jen and Erica.
Wow. Kelly, thank you so much for that update. Switching gears now this morning, the Preds end their regular season with a loss to the Penguins last night in Pittsburgh. I guess we didn't get those out soon enough, did we? But that's okay. They still do secure that wild card spot in the Western Conference. Plus, defenseman Jeremy Lauzon snagged an NHL single-season record with 383 hits.
It's pretty awesome. It's something that I wanted to achieve, and being able to achieve it at that age. I'm pretty young here, and I still have a lot of years, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the Penguins defeated the Preds 4-2 in Pittsburgh. Philip Forsberg scoring last night, living up to the Scoresburg, you get it, nickname, with 48 goals, a career high. Congrats to him. And then Gustav Nyquist scored as well, getting 75 points this season for goals and assists.
So the Preds will most likely here face the Vancouver Canucks in round one, with about a 20% chance of facing the Dallas Stars. See, things are still kind of playing out and settling into place. A very slight chance of having to face the Oilers.
We're still rooting for them.
Yes, of course we are.
Yeah.
We're going to keep those on standby, by the way.
Here's a question. Who does it best? The somewhat heated debate over barbecue on the floor of the Tennessee Senate. I'm serious. We're going to explain that one. And stargazers, listen up why you need to turn your attention to the night sky once again this week.
Right now, Fox 17 News and a code red.
During Ram Truck Month, get $3,000 total bonus cash allowance on the 2024 Ram 2500 Tradesman Crew Cab, or get 10% below MSRP on the 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab.
Hey, welcome back. 7:55 is the time, and looking ahead, if you're into stargazing, this is your week. I know last week you were like, wait, we had a solar eclipse, but this week, the oldest known meteor shower is hitting its peak over the next couple of days.
All right, apparently the best time to see the Lyrids is right before dawn. You can also look east to get the best view. In general, you could see about 10 to 20 meteors per hour. Now, that is weather permitting. And that's where Greg comes in.
Yeah, I mean, why not talk about it? Going into the weekend, it is going to peak here. So what does it mean for us here back home? First of all, you got to find the constellation. If you don't know the stars, we'll make it real easy for you. They're called the Lyrids because there's Lyra, which is the constellation. So this is always late April every year in the Northeast. The best viewing for us, based upon our cloud cover, will be 11 p.m. through 2 a.m. And this year, we're predicting about 10 to 15 meteors per hour with our night sky. You got to get away, though, from the Nashville lights to see it really nicely. You know, even a good 10, 15 miles away from downtown. Big world of difference here. Your Thursday evening, looking pretty good. Friday, though, we bring in a different weather maker, not the one that we're code red for that comes in tonight, but Friday, not so good looking here when it comes to the chance to see some meteors flying around. But they do happen every year around this time, so if you miss it, you got next year still. Taking a look, our code red threat level is in alert for tonight and then tomorrow. Midnight through 6 a.m., a chance for a few showers and storms, especially northwest of the Clarksville area. And then tomorrow, noon to 6 p.m. across most of Middle Tennessee, the possibility of 1 or 2 stronger storms. Not everyone gets the rain, but those of us that do have a storm, damaging wind can't be ruled out in any of those cells that do fire. Pollen forecast. Still changing nothing here until we get to Saturday into Sunday. Very high when it comes to all of our allergens. Temperatures warm once again, 87 degrees this afternoon. And our temperatures right now, right side of your screen, even during commercial breaks, every morning all the way through 9 a.m., we're starting off in the 60s to kick off your Tuesday.
Zero clear traffic. One thing to show you here as we end our 7 o'clock hour, and that's happening on the east side. I-40 at Spence Lane. As you make that drive in, you can see where they have gotten everything blocked off just about. You can't get by here at the exit on the shoulder. So this is going to be I-40 as you make that drive in. The Hermitage Avenue exit is what we're talking about here. And yeah, you can get by. But listen, anytime you're doing this, you can run into all kinds of things. It wouldn't surprise me at all. These folks over here pick up a nail or a screw or something as they drive by on the shoulder. They sweep up all that debris from past accidents over there on the shoulder. So these folks being forced to use it may want to check their tires afterwards. You can always use the Lebanon Pike area. You can also use Elm Hill Pike is the best way to steer clear. Looks like this crash does have some injuries. That's why authorities are there. Again, you can get by on the shoulder, at least for now.
Justin, thank you. Just a couple minutes before 8 o'clock. Listen to this. Lighthearted debate over a bill in our state house when it comes to which barbecue would be named the official Tennessee food. Well, they've got it all sorted out, and much to Erica's chagrin, they're talking about Memphis barbecue.
Yeah, the measure passing the House and was before the full Senate Monday afternoon. And listen, this was a very heated debate. People talking about what they thought was best. Just go ahead and listen here.
Making Memphis barbecue the state's official state food, I think is unfair to the folks of East Tennessee that make pretty good barbecue.
Having lived in both East Tennessee and Memphis, I'd have to say that West Tennessee barbecue is much better.
We also have the World Barbecue Fest every year, the Memphis and May Barbecue Fest. That brings thousands of people from across the world into Memphis to experience our culture around barbecue.
Yes, I would just like to know if the hot slaw would go with the Memphis barbecue.
Hey, listen, we do want to hear from you all. Let us know what you think about the barbecue. Who has the best? Is it East? Is it Memphis? Let us know. Go to our Fox 17 social media pages. Stay with us, though. Our 8 o'clock hour is starting right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Waking up in a code red weather alert, not for anything happening today. Another day well into the 80s. It is tonight into tomorrow. A weak cool front moves in. What that could mean for severe weather.
I-40 at Spence Lane, pretty major accident that has now shut down the exit, at least for a little bit. We're going to tell you the best ways to get around this.
And textbooks that are updated belong in our schools, not guns.
Students take to the Capitol in Nashville, upset over current legislation that is sparking controversy. This is the one that would allow teachers or staff members to carry in the classroom if they chose to do so. We'll hear from both sides of the debate this hour.
8 o'clock on the dot. Busy morning here at Fox 17 News. Thank you for waking up with us on a Tuesday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. Let's get started this hour with the latest updates in our Code Red weather alert. You know, we stay live and local for you for 5 hours every morning. So when we get information like this coming into the Weather Center where we see changes in the weather pattern that could impact your day, we can keep you updated all morning.
Yeah, and it's a morning where you wake up and there's some rain in a couple spots here, and you go, oh, then the red lights are on. Is this for today? No, this is for tonight into tomorrow. We're giving you the heads up. Today is not a problem by any means. This afternoon will be completely dry, so will the evening. So any plans that you have outdoors, prepare for 80s, prepare for rough allergies, and prepare for a little bit of a breeze. Rain is pulling away from us as we speak. A few isolated raindrops cannot be ruled out until about 9, 10 o'clock this morning, and then everything settles down into the afternoon. Take a look back to yesterday, and that'll paint the story for today. Yesterday's high was 86 degrees. Record high temperature, 87. We were that close, 1 degree away. Today, high temperature of 87 later on this afternoon. Taking a look, storms, though, do have us into code red for tonight and also tomorrow. 2 rounds are possible, not by any means guaranteed. First timing, midnight through 6 a.m. and then tomorrow, noon through 6 p.m. It has to do with a lot of different moving parts in the forecast. No guarantees that we even see thunderstorms. If 1 or 2 things don't go right, we get nothing at all, which would be perfect. But if everything does settle in, all modes of severe weather cannot be ruled out. That means wind, hail, and a small isolated tornado threat. What do I mean by conditional? Here we go. It's like any recipe, whether you're baking a cake, a loaf of bread, or anything just in general. The ingredients need to be there first of all. They need the right amount of each one of them to make sure it works out well. Well, the ingredients are there for strong storms. The thing is, they've got to get going. You have to turn the oven on before you can cook things here. So if we can get that moving for us tomorrow, we could have a few showers and storms that get a little bit stronger. And then going into the weekend, a big cooling trend. New look at Future Track, your 7-day forecast, and that scale we use when it comes to each threat we have. Those are all coming to you in the next check of your forecast.
All right, everyone, steer clear traffic. Let's focus in on this crash at I-40 at Spence Lane. They're trying to get it out of the way, but it's an injury crash that has the exit there at 40 at Hermitage blocked up. It's got people getting by there on the shoulder. Not the best way to get around town this morning. You could try to take Lebanon Pike or the Elm Hill Pike area. Both of them will help you steer clear of trying to travel the shoulder to get off at this exit, which is really, really tough. And again, watch out for debris there on the shoulder that does not extend onto the regular interstate. Drive times look like this, and they're all pretty much a mess. 55 minutes coming in from Hendersonville, 78 minutes from Murfreesboro, 49 minutes from Franklin. There are other crashes to tell you about, including one near Fern Avenue. We're going to tell you more about that in just a few.
We're also following some more breaking news updates as we try to get some more information about a pedestrian being struck by a car near Broadway. We do understand the person was taken to Vanderbilt for treatment. There's no update on their condition at this particular time. This story is over on our website, fox17.com. As to the vehicle involved, if they stayed at the scene, we're also working to get some information about that. If you want to read more about where this happened and get some more updates, again, go to fox17.com.
Well, this morning in Crisis in the Classroom, these are children at Metro Nashville Public Schools who walked out of class yesterday in protest of a bill that would allow Tennessee teachers to be armed at school if they chose to do so. The House is set to take up that bill as we look ahead to later this week. The state Senate has already signed off on it. And this morning, we're hearing from both sides of the debate. Some feel like giving our teachers the option of carrying in the classroom could be the answer to stopping another school shooter. Other people say they're worried about guns ending up in the wrong hands and say lawmakers should put their focus elsewhere.
And true leaders don't just sit on the sidelines, they get out by arming teachers instead of addressing gun violence.
Erica, this certainly is a discussion that a lot of people have been going back and forth on for a very long time, and that continues.
Yeah, that's right, Jen. And to get another perspective, we also spoke with retired Metro police officer. His name is Ken Alexandro. He trains staff at private schools and churches, he says, across the country. He also told Fox 17 News that, yes, he is for arming teachers in schools. But listen, he does have some stipulations.
Could it be a great thing? It could be a great thing. Could it be a catastrophic disaster? Absolutely. Depends on who you get trained by.
All right, you heard him. Depends on who you get trained by. He also told us that because of his team's rigorous training and also the psychological testing that they have to go through, his teachers, he believes, have not had any kind of issues.
Now, Governor Lee has been passionate about improving school safety ever since the deadly shooting at the Covenant School in Green Hills last March. Fox 17 News asked the governor if he feels like this bill is enough. Listen to his response.
I've said that I'm open to that idea. It's very important what the details of that legislation would look like. It has passed one chamber, not the other. That means there's likely to be changes to it if it passes at all.
And Covenant parents have also been outspoken for change. They, for the most part, have said they are not on board with this idea. But coming up later here on Fox 17 News this morning, this hour, Peyton Muse is going to take a deeper dive into the latest developments that are involving the school parents from Covenant and the shooter's writings. Remember, we have a court date set for today to begin hearing arguments in either the release of those writings or in keeping them private. Crisis in the Classroom, Fox 17 News commitment to exposing problems in our schools, but also finding solutions. So if you have a story you want to share, you can email us news@fox17.com or call the number. It's our tip line right there at the bottom of your screen.
Because this is the step that I took. This is the bill that I filed. This is the family that I'm fighting for.
You're acting like you're the only one who cares in here. Do something.
Well, passion's on full display right before the vote to pass a law to honor a Belmont student who was killed by a stray bullet. We're going to tell you why lawmakers were in full shouting mode right before a unanimous vote.
And Metro Police have identified
until Tuesday, April 16th at 11 a.m.
See us on the web at compassmontgomery.com.
Get severe storm warnings for your area. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red weather app.
8:09 is the time here on this Tuesday morning. Jillian's Law passed the Tennessee House of Representatives 92-0. No one voted against it. The law would bar felons with mental health histories from having a gun. It would also put them on a national criminal database. But before it passed, some members of the House said it simply did not go far enough. There were some passionate feelings, and it led to heated moments like this.
There's so many other things we could do that are sensible, that no law-abiding citizen, no gun owner in this state has a problem with. The only people who have a problem with most of these suggestions are in this room, unfortunately.
Let's take a good step together and show folks in Tennessee how we can join together and actually make this state safer. If we did that more often, maybe we would get more done on this issue instead of just pontificate about it. Because this is the step that I took. This is the bill that I filed. This is the family that I'm fighting for.
And don't act like I don't care about that family. They shouldn't be here in the first damn place if anybody in here would have acted last year when we were in session doing something. No, you started it. You're acting like you're the only one who cares in here. Do something.
By the way, both members you just saw shouting at each other there voted for this bill, despite their disagreement, and now moves on to the governor's desk. In Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police have named an 18-year-old named Tyler Fan as the third and final suspect in a deadly shooting of a security guard last month. Now, you may remember this story as we brought it to you. Police say that Fan is one of 3 men who broke into some cars outside of the Illusions Bar and Lounge. When the security guard, Maurice Thomas Jr., went to check in on that noise, police say he was shot several times. He died at the scene. At least one of those teens is now facing criminal homicide charges and 3 counts of vehicle burglary. We've got a lot more on the other arrests that have already been made on our website at fox17.com.
And coming up in your Code Red forecast, a chance for some storms tonight into tomorrow. A live look at Lower Broadway. Not much happening right now. The complete arrival and future track coming up in a few moments.
Plus, steer clear traffic, a real mess of town at 65 and Fern Avenue. They've got 1 lane shut off. Oh boy, this is already one of the more congested areas of town. We'll tell you the best way to steer clear coming up.
While our legislators only play out fantasy scenarios of what it's like during an active shooting and how they'd be heroes, my children know exactly what happens.
Another heated debate at the State House. This time, the topic of discussion as parents of the Covenant's.
Hey there, 8:15 is the time. Fox 17 News. If you're just now waking up with us, we are in a code red weather alert. We were trying to just map it out because, Jen, I know you have, what, baseball games?
Yes.
And you're wondering, are we playing?
Yeah.
Oh, you're playing.
I think we're
going to be hot.
I think we're good for this evening. Yes, Greg?
Oh, completely fine for this evening. It's tonight into tomorrow that we're code red for. 2 different chances for severe weather, but this evening, not a problem whatsoever. So, yes, if you're not really a fan of these mid to upper 80s, almost breaking records day after day, we've got one more of them ahead of us here. 87 degrees later this afternoon. Right side of your screen, upper 50s to low 60s, and then eventually 70s in the next 2 hours. 2 rounds of possible severe weather. The first one, midnight to 6 a.m. overnight tonight. This is not for everyone. A stray shower or strong storm is possible here, mainly north and west of Nashville. Think even Clarksville on north and west, getting into portions of southern Kentucky as well. Those die down. And then tomorrow, noon to 6 p.m. If we don't have any rain in the morning hours of tomorrow, it's a possibility we could see a few stray showers, but if we don't, a few thunderstorms will have the ability to fire up when a weak cool front moves in, and 1 or 2 strong storms can't be ruled out. By no means is anything high on our list when it comes to our threats, but we cannot rule out a spin-up tornado if we do get these storms. The storms aren't even a guarantee, but if we do, all 3 of these cannot be ruled out. Damaging wind and also some decent-sized hail if a few of these storms get tall enough for us. What we're all going to have no matter what, rough allergies. I've been showing this all morning, and it's almost unsettling to look at when you have a red box there and it says severe for tree allergies, and it's already been bad enough. Grass and mold are also elevated today. All 3 of those, if that's your allergen of choice, well, not of choice, we don't choose them, but the one that gets to you, all 3 of those are going to be a little rough. This afternoon, 87 degrees. We'll keep the 80s going for Wednesday and Thursday, and then a cooler spell of weather moves us in toward the upcoming weekend. If you're making your weekend plans, the cooler day is going to be Sunday, but that will also be the drier day in the forecast. A few storms cannot be ruled out on Saturday.
All right, everyone, steer clear traffic. Let's take a look here at a couple of different scenes. This is going to be I-65 at the Fern Avenue overpass there on the north side. They've got 1 lane shut off at a very valuable piece of real estate. So this is as you make your way from Madison, from Goodlettsville, anywhere north of town, and you want to make this turn here. The curve leads you up towards Rosa Parks and Metro Center. If you know you go that way, they've got 1 lane shut off because of a crash that is all over this particular shoulder. And the ambulance was here, the fire department was here. They've got 1 lane open. What is this doing to the traffic back behind it? Well, listen, it's slow on a normal day, but now when you have this added to it, everything over here in this far lane that's looking to make that curve is going to be at a standstill for the most part. So you want to try to take Ellington Parkway if you can. Take Ellington Parkway, hop it over to Jefferson Street, and take Jefferson Street over to get into the Metro Center area if that's what you're trying to do. It'll be much faster than dealing with this, I assure you, at least for now. All right, here we are in the clearing stages of a crash at I-40 at Spence Lane. They're still getting over on the shoulder, but there are less and less vehicles here as the ambulance is still on the scene taking care of people involved in a Mark II car crash. Hopefully that shut door means we're about to clear this scene out of here. You can take Elm Hill Pike and Lebanon Pike as a good way to steer clear.
Covenant families are now urging the House to not pass a bill allowing teachers, principals, and staff members to carry guns on school grounds.
The Senate passed the bill, but it is not passed the House just yet, hence what Erica mentioned, this push to try to keep it from going any further.
Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse is joining us live from the Capitol this Tuesday morning, sharing both sides of this debate.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. So this bill passed in all committees last year, but was held on the desk in the wake of the Covenant School mass shooting. Now this bill is expected to hit the floor sometime this week. Parents of Covenant School survivors say teachers need to be in the classroom, not taking down a mass shooter.
Had my daughter's teacher left the classroom to pursue the shooter, a classroom of 9-year-olds would have been left to protect themselves. It's not only irresponsible, but also ludicrous.
Another Covenant School parent read a letter from a teacher who survived the mass shooting on March 27th, 2023, recounting what they went through that day. The teacher says they secured their classrooms as fast as possible, turned the lights off, and lowered the blinds.
We hid in a closet that was not large enough for 13, but we held those babies in our arms, on our legs, and even sat one child on a cabinet. As we heard shots firing over and over and over for what seemed like an eternity, we worked to comfort the frightened children.
Those for the bill say it gave an extra layer of protection.
I'm not going to say I'm happy at all that we even have to have a bill like this, so I wouldn't go to happy immediately. But do I feel that some of the kids might be safer, some of the students and some of the teachers could feel a little bit more empowered that if something did happen?
The bill's sponsor says in part, the legislation creates a carefully vetted voluntary program and the staff undergoes extensive crisis management and safety training along with a mental health evaluation. If you would like to read the full statement, head over to our website at fox17.com and stick with us both on air and online for when this bill is pulled off the desk and is discussed on the floor. Reporting live at the Capitol, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. Right now in Operation Crime and Justice, there is a renewed call for action after a Tennessee State University football player was hit and killed while crossing the road. It happened over the weekend. And now Metro police officers are asking anyone who might have seen something to certainly say something, give them a call. It happened early Sunday morning on Gallatin Pike, that is near Marion Avenue, where this all took place. Police say a small SUV or a red car hit Chazon Page at a high rate of speed and this took off.
Chazon, a Nashville native, he played at TSU for 4 seasons. Before that, he was at Lipscomb Academy in Nashville. So we'll follow that story as it develops. And looking ahead now, TriStar Health wants to bring a full-service hospital to the growing city of Spring Hill. We'll take a closer look at their plans in our next half hour.
And we're also going to have an explanation about a timeline of our Code Red weather alert. We are watching out for potential
insurance people, their crash experts, and their lawyers right to the scene, and none of them are there for you. But we are the minute you call. After your truck crash, call Ponce Law.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. 8:24 is your time. Support continues to pour in for Monell's at the Manor. And this morning, we're learning that they had a huge turnout over the weekend.
Nearly 900 guests went to dine and enjoy at this historical type of restaurant there just off of Murfreesboro Road. This comes as Monell at the Manors continues to try and fight to keep their historic building from demolition. According to the Tennessee Historical Commission, the building does meet the criteria for enlisting in the National Register of Historic Places, which is why some city and state leaders are looking into the possible consequences if it is demolished.
Yeah, and here's what's happening. The airport owns this. All right, the airport says we need it to expand. And that's when Monell's owner and some folks in the community started fighting back, saying, hold on now, pump the brakes. Yeah. Can't we come to a different agreement? Can't we maybe find another way to do this? So, as Justin mentioned, the date to make a decision right around the corner.
And so is the potential for a few showers and thunderstorms right around the corner tonight into tomorrow. Today, not a bad one, 87 degrees, our third straight day at or above 85. Almost broke a record yesterday and almost broke a record on Sunday. Didn't quite get there, but uncharacteristically warm to say the least. Very warm and breezy as well. You'll notice the wind, which will also keep kicking up the allergens here. Pollen counts are very high today, which will also mean if you're out there mowing the lawn, that's just going to add to it. But this might be your best day to do it before we get to the upcoming weekend, because tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all looking a little bit stormy in their own respects. Not necessarily all code red days, but midnight tonight is our time frame of things to begin to move in. Until then, not much going to happen. A really nice day on and off with some cloud cover. Looking at the weekend, a little bit of a two-parter. One day warmer and stormier, another day cooler, but also drier and a little bit sunnier. So your Saturday, 68 degrees, will be in the low 60s on Sunday. Nighttime temperatures in the 40s and 50s, both nights leading into each morning. So just keep that in mind. And if you want some alerts here, you always want to have a way to get alerted at night, especially when we have that midnight to 6 a.m. time frame tonight. Get the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. You can do it by scanning the QR code right there on your screen or going to either of the app stores. Coming up in our 8:30 half hour, we'll look ahead on future track to not just one but two windows of opportunity for some storms in the next 48 hours.
Steer clear traffic for you at 827. Quick look outside. Let's go to I-65 at Fern Avenue. This is one of the major holdups we're going to have here if you're trying to make your way in from anywhere north of town. So if you're in Madison, Goodlettsville, if you're in Pleasant View, if you're in Whites Creek, if you're in Jolton, and you know you need to come into downtown Nashville or past it, this is going to hold you up. We do have a crash on the shoulder, but it is closing down one lane as you make your way towards Metro Center. Let me show you what it's doing back behind it. You see that? Everything to the outside there on the top half side of your screen is going to be slow because of the crash, shutting down one lane on that curve there at the junction. So you want to try to take Ellington Parkway, Dickerson Pike, take that into town, hit Jefferson Street and try to cut your way over. That's going to be your best bet to steer clear as we continue to follow things outside.
Talking about driving, Fox 17 News following breaking news at the gas pump, and I'm going to go ahead and show you a post shared on X. Now, this right here shows and explains how the national average for the price of gasoline has hit $3.65 per gallon. Y'all, that's the highest level since early October. That was more than 6 months ago. This post is from a Gas Buddy analyst. Fox 17 News, don't worry, we are working to help you. So make sure you head to fox17.com's fuel gauge section to find the cheapest prices closest to where you live.
Well, next on Fox 17 News this morning, the bill named after the college student who lost her life while walking in a park is now on the way to the governor's desk. We're going to hear from the parents of Jillian Ludwig about how.
Watch Fox 17 News anywhere. Download the Fox 17 News app now. Fox 17 News, Code Red Weather.
Your first line of defense when severe weather threatens.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News, we are in a code red weather alert for the potential of strong to severe storms tonight into Wednesday. We're going to lay out that timeline.
Steer clear traffic takes us to a mess of town. I-65 at the Fern Avenue overpass. We're going to tell you the best way to steer clear that's going to impact a lot of people.
And Tennessee could join the ranks of states where public school employees have to disclose if students are transgender, going by different pronouns, or otherwise. We've got this bill advancing in our legislature. An update from lawmakers this half hour.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 17 News on a Tuesday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. So in the next 30 minutes, we're going to get you all caught up on all the big stories, plus weather and traffic before you head out the door.
Yeah, we are in a code red weather alert, so let's not waste any time. Let's get that timeline for you.
Let's get straight to it. Yeah, it's not going to be for today. A couple showers tracked through this morning, a little cloud cover lingering, and one or two sprinkles can't be ruled out between now and around 10 o'clock, but that's it. Our code red is for tonight and then tomorrow, and this is one of those code reds where it's not a guarantee that we see storms, which is good. But if we do have enough things that fall into play and a couple of storms do fire, they could be on the stronger side. So that's why we're going precautionary here when it comes to code red. Most of us, honestly, won't even see any rain today and tomorrow. That's how we're going to go with this. Very hit or miss. But two timelines to talk about. One, midnight tonight through 6 a.m. And that's going to mainly be well to the north and the west of the Nashville area. A broken line of storms dying down as it moves in overnight. Clarksville on toward the north and west. And there could be some damaging wind with that if they hold together. Conditional threat. What in the world does that mean at 8:30 in the morning? It means that you have to have 4 or 5 things that fall into place to even have storms tomorrow. So any one of those that we pull out of the puzzle, the whole thing doesn't work. All modes of weather are possible. Here's how it works. If we have a little bit of isolated rain in the morning tomorrow, then this secondary timeline, very unlikely for thunderstorm development. Future Track even showing that for us here. So we'll take a look at that coming up in a few minutes. We'll work you through both of those timelines. You'll see how insignificant the coverage area is when it comes to our storm threat, but it is there tonight into tomorrow.
Steer clear traffic for you. Let's get you out to I-24. This is at Old Franklin Road. Watch out. Tire rubber out there in the road. So you're going to see people trying to dodge that. If you hit this, it can leave you with a really bad day on the shoulder of the road. So watch out for that. I'm sure crews will be out there trying to get that out of the way here very soon in the Antioch area. Let's take you to the biggest issue of the morning, and that's here. 65 at the Fern Avenue overpass. Massive crash over here on the shoulder. Lots of cars involved. The biggest problem with this crash is it's shutting down one lane of a very busy junction here. You make this turn towards Rosa Parks, towards Metro Center. The traffic back behind this is a real nightmare. Trinity Lane going all the way back for several miles here as a result of that crash. You can even see, and it's blurry, but the lineup here, this is people just trying to merge on. It's slow there at the on-ramp there. You could try to use Ellington Parkway, Dickerson Pike. This could be your best way to steer clear. You can get your way over the Jefferson Street. You can use that to get over in the Metro Center.
Justin, thank you. Right now, we're talking more about a bill that would require public school employees to tell parents if their child is transgender using a different name or pronouns. The State House passed this bill yesterday.
So what happens next? Well, the bill is sponsored by Republican Representative Mary Littleton, and she says that parents have the right to know what's happening with their children in school. Littleton also said this legislation was needed so that parents could know if their student might need therapy. But some Democratic lawmakers disagree.
Second of all, these are the most vulnerable kids in our state who are just trying to make it out of middle school alive. And we are weaponizing their identity instead of actually passing bills that help Tennesseans.
Other lawmakers argued that this bill would expose children to danger if their parents are abusive. The bill will now return to the Senate for another vote to reconcile the House and Senate versions of this legislation.
Also new this morning, a bill that would stop offenders that are deemed too mentally incompetent to stand trial from quickly going back into society. That's now heading to the governor's desk. The state legislature passing Jillian's law just yesterday.
Fox 17 News' investigative reporter Kelly Avellino at the Capitol. She has more on what the law means to the family and the efforts they're now starting.
That's right, guys. It was certainly a moving day for Jillian Ludwig's parents and her 2 younger brothers as a bill for change in her name passed nearly unanimously. Just a few no votes there. The Belmont University freshman was gunned down by a violent suspect who had been arrested after a judge, or released, I should say, after a judge ruled he was mentally unfit to stand trial, but not unstable enough to be committed. That man then firing the stray bullet that police say killed Jillian last year. Jillian's family holding a picture, holding hands as their daughter as they watched the law pass while sitting in the gallery at the state capitol. Jillian's law closes that loophole that has allowed felony offenders deemed, again, too mentally ill to be tried from getting immediately released back onto the street. They must now be admitted to a mental health facility. This law also bars that person from having a gun and also puts them on a national background check database for criminals.
I'm happy that Jillian's legacy with her name attached to this bill will help save lives.
As for the suspect, Shaquille Taylor, he has a long record and has been charged with firing that bullet that killed Jillian. He will have a competency hearing next month to determine whether he will stand trial for murder. Previously, he had been evaluated as functioning as a kindergartner or on a kindergarten level. Jillian's family believes Taylor is competent enough to face the justice system, noting that he did have a job, an apartment, a girlfriend, and was able to dispose somehow, they say, of the weapon that he used to kill Jillian. Now, Jillian's parents have also started a foundation in her name called Ray of Light, Jillian's middle name, to help children with music lessons, Jillian's passion. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Not leaking into your home. Chim Chimney. Honest, dependable, affordable.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by the Rocky McElhaney Law Firm.
I got puppets for Ryan.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. TriStar Health wants to open a full-service hospital in Spring Hill, and you can see Spring Hill right here just off of I-65. This facility would cost about $250 million. TriStar says the hospital would bring about 3,000 jobs to the area. That's a lot of folks. If approved, this hospital would go near Saturn Parkway and Kedron Road right down here. This is not far from the GM plant. This is the same spot right now as the current TriStar emergency room. So the hospital plan would include 68 beds, an intensive care unit, labor and delivery, and so much more. They're going to have a public information meeting about the plan. It's scheduled for May 14th, 5 to 7 p.m. at Community Baptist Church. We'll keep you up to date as the story develops.
And take a look at our forecast here at 8:41, and we're waking up to a code red threat level for tonight into tomorrow. This is not a today issue. The big issue today is right there on your screen. Our allergy levels are going to be very miserable, just to put it bluntly. If you have tree allergies or you have grass or mold, they are all just about as high as they can get on the scale. We're not going to see much when it comes to rain. A couple of light rain showers have been out there this morning. That dies down for the afternoon, well into the 80s again later today. So the forecast calling for more heat. Taking a look, we're almost to 70 degrees already. We're not even at 9 o'clock. So kind of a three-peat here of 3 days in a row, Sunday, Monday, and now today in the mid to upper 80s, close to record territory all 3 days. Now, the catch is, what is the code red for? Midnight tonight through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The chance for some scattered showers that are going to be in the forecast, maybe even a rumble or two of some thunder, and then a few more storms possible tomorrow as well. Overall picture today, nothing to worry about. This is the look ahead to tomorrow afternoon. Great patio day, a little bit breezy, but look at those temperatures. 77 degrees at 11, 81 degrees at noon, 83 degrees at 1 p.m. Coming up in the next Check Your Forecast, we're going to look ahead to Future Track and puzzle piece everything together when it comes to our code red potential tonight.
Saturday mornings.
Happening now, the Nashville community is paying its respects to a fallen Memphis police officer. Now, the full state senate stood in honor of the Memphis police officer Joseph McKinney, who was shot to death in the line of duty just last week. After a moment of silence, they also had a prayer as well for that family. Coming up, we've got your Steer Clear traffic. We'll tell you about this big problem coming from the north side of town.
That sounds like the old Julie.
Firing your therapist is hard. Hiring Morgan & Morgan for your injury is easy. Morgan & Morgan. The choice is easy.
Welcome back. Right now, Fox 17 News, we are showing you a live look over at First Horizon Ballpark because the Nashville Sounds, they're playing the Omaha Storm Chasers. Yeah, Omaha is affiliate with the Kansas City Royals, I should say. The homestand begins tonight, 6:35, and it continues through Sunday night. Just keep in mind that our very own Jennifer Waddell is going to be out there on Friday.
I'll give it my best effort. Hey, here's what's cool. The Nashville Sounds are going to be the Nashville Brewskis this week.
So cool.
Yeah, they've got these alternate uniforms they'll be wearing. Erica says she wants one of the jerseys.
I do.
We'll have to check them out Friday night. They are inspired by the Milwaukee Brewers, which is the big league team for the Sounds.
Now, weather-wise, we are in a code red weather alert. We do want to check in with Greg to see if the weather's going to cooperate for tonight.
Tonight looks great. Yeah, if you want to get out there for the first game of that homestand for the Sounds, go for it, not a problem. Our code red weather alert is for overnight tonight and then going into tomorrow. This is that 24-hour heads up we like to give you so you know what's coming our way before we're waking up in the middle of the night going, where is the thunder and why is there lightning? What's going on? No being caught off guard this time around. 69 degrees on our way to 87 later this afternoon. And nothing to worry about today. Honestly, our cloud cover going to try to break up here during the afternoon, give us a few hours of some sunshine. That'll help heat us back up into the 80s very quickly. Overnight tonight, we have 2 rounds of storms possible in the next 36 hours. This is the first one. Here's 11 o'clock, so we'll say right around midnight through about 6 a.m. Broken line of storms moves in, weakening as it goes in. The best chance for us to see some severe weather is going to be to the north and the west of the Nashville area, and it's not a guarantee as this will be weakening as it moves in. A few isolated rain showers look real close at that greenish gray. Could give us the possibility of a few showers in the morning tomorrow. If we get those, then nothing happens for the rest of the day. If we don't, then noon through 6 p.m., the chance for a few very isolated strong to severe storms cannot be ruled out. You just saw on Future Track, most of us see nothing, but those of us that do get a storm or two to pop up could be a little bit stronger, and damaging wind being the thing we're watching most carefully. A little bit cooler each day here by the end of the week until we drop all the way back down to the 60s for high temperatures Saturday into Sunday.
Steer clear traffic at 8:48. Let's take a quick look here at what we're dealing with. I-65 at the Fern Avenue overpass. This is right at the junction here for 24, 40, and 65. You see they all meet together here. This ramp right up here takes you towards Rosa Parks and eventually over to Metro Center. If you know you have to go that way, it's going to be a very slow go because of this crash. They're trying to get it out of the way, but it's going to take some time, and one lane is closed. Now, this is a slow intersection as it is, but on a day like today, look at what it's doing to the traffic, and it's not just here, it's way back. Here we are, everybody. It extends all the way back past Dickerson Pike, past Riley Parkway now, before you were able to get into town. You could try to use, normally I tell you, Ellington Parkway is a good way to steer clear. It's backed up, so is Dickerson Pike. You could try to use Gallatin Road back here. They're all going to be a little slow. Add yourself another 10 to 15 minutes to get into town this morning if you're coming from that north side.
Here's a recap of some of our top stories this Tuesday morning. Happening today, the first day of the court case involving the release of the Covenant shooter's writings. This is certainly a story that will be watched nationally, if not internationally. Covenant school parents have been standing their ground regarding the privacy of Audrey Hill's writings. They do not want them released, but several other groups, including the Tennessee Firearms Association, the Tennessean, have argued for that release.
And in Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police have named 18-year-old Tyler Phan as the third and final suspect regarding a deadly shooting of a security guard that happened last month. Well, police say this man, Phan, is one of 3 men who broke into cars outside of Illusion Bar and Lounge. That's when Maurice Thomas Jr. went to check out the noise. Police say they shot the security guard several times and he died at the scene. We have more on other arrests regarding this story over on Fox17.com.
Murfreesboro police say they need some help piecing together what led up to the deadly case of road rage that happened over the weekend. We've now learned the name of the man who died in that whole shooting. Investigators say that the shooter is 39-year-old Joseph Gann. Police say he fired at a group of motorcyclists Saturday while driving on South Rutherford Boulevard. And the name of the man who died, Paul Howell, 49 years old. We understand another 48-year-old man survived a gunshot to his arm. Police say although the alleged shooter has turned himself in, they still don't know what led up to the shooting. If you have any information, please call police.
And coming up,
cars, SUVs, trucks, vans are all in stock. Drive KBB.com's best value brand now with payments from $239 a month. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Welcome back at 8:54. Moms make the world go round, and now more than ever with women trying to do it all, you know, we got to be taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, so that is a mission, of course, for Rachel Tinius, professor over at Western Kentucky and CEO of a new app to help women who are expecting or postpartum, and this is near and dear to my heart.
Sure is. Rachel, tell us a little bit about your fitness journey and how you got to this point.
Yeah, so I'm an avid runner and also a mom of 4, and so exercise during pregnancy is obviously something I've lived both in my personal life and then also my professional life now, as I'm a researcher and I study exercise during pregnancy. And so in a journey to try to figure out how do we bring this message to more new moms that it's okay to be active during and after the pregnancy, I got the idea to develop a mobile app to help new and expectant moms with that physical activity guidance and coaching that they really need during this critical time point in their life.
I know Erica went through a lot of this as she was exercising and running through her pregnancy. That's how actually I thought about talking to you about this, was as you were going through your journey.
So I'm so curious, for all the women who are watching this, maybe your family, you want to let your family know about this. How can women download this particular app?
Yeah, so it's called Bumped Up. You can go to bumpedupapp.com.
And spell that for us.
Bumped Up, so it's BUMPTUP.
And you created this app.
Yes,
You've got lots of other doctors, you have nutritionists, fitness experts, trainers, all who are working with you right here in Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee to create this.
Yes, yeah, we have an amazing team of experts, and that's one thing that really sets apart our app from other existing resources is moms can feel like this is information I can trust. It's developed by experts.
Can I tell you too, being in postpartum feels at times so overwhelming, and you just wonder, am I going to get out of this? Am I going to feel better? What is your message to moms who are dealing with their postpartum journey, wherever they may be?
That's the key message, is wherever you are is okay. Don't compare yourself to other moms. Everyone's body's different. Everyone's delivery was different. Everyone's pregnancy is different. Everyone's baby's different. So we just need to follow our own path, but also feel very empowered to be active and to take time for yourself. I'm selfish in that I say, there's a part of my day every day that is for me, and I exercise, and it makes me a better mom. Well, so I think that's okay.
And speaking of babies, look at this. Speaking of doing it all, moms make the world go round. Rachel, thanks for rushing in here and for bringing your sweet baby girl with you.
No problem.
We're so glad to have you, and thanks for all the work that you're doing right here in our own backyard to help moms everywhere.
Thank you for having me.
8:56, one more check of the forecast I can't get over. How adorable. Oh my gosh. Taking a look here. Our forecast looking real good, 87 today. We've been talking about code red all day and all the red lights around. That's for tonight and tomorrow. Do not worry about your forecast today. Go about your business as usual. It'll be very similar to yesterday. Last good day to mow the lawn, though, before we get into the weekend, because we have chances for rain each day leading up to and into the upcoming weekend, and that grass is going to be real long if you don't get that cut before we get to Sunday. Taking a look at the weekend. After 87 today, we're going to stair-step down to cooler temperatures. Saturday, 68, and then 62 degrees on Sunday. So a few cliff notes for the weekend here is that we're more likely to see thunderstorms on Saturday than Sunday. We dry out throughout your Sunday. So making your plans, just know that when we have your Sunday roll around, it will be a little bit cooler. But with that, we're also going to have that drier scenario as well. So how do you get alerts? You have to have a way to get alerts tonight. Midnight through 6 a.m., the chance for a few strong storms, Clarksville to the north and west. Right there on your screen, you can scan the QR code. It gives you the Code Red weather app. Think about smoke detector at night. That's what wakes you up if you have a fire in your house. God forbid that would ever happen, but that's what gets you awake. This is the same thing right here. What'll happen is if you have a severe alert just in your county, it will go off for you, and then you'll know exactly what's happening. It's not going to alert you if counties away there are storms that aren't going to give you any headaches at night, but it will make sure